And it's south.
I work for the company.
Yeah, it's south. And,
I'm ready for you.
Good evening. Welcome to the City of West Miami. Today is our regular commission meeting of Wednesday, December the 3rd, 2014. It's now 7:40. For the invocation, Ms. Aguilar.
Thank you. Please rise. Lord, this evening we ask you for many blessings during the holiday season for the City of West Miami residents, for our elected leadership, for all the members of our staff. We pray for a very blessed, happy, and healthy holiday season. And this evening we also wish to pray for the family of Commissioner Rhonda Rodriguez, who had a recent loss as well in their family. And we pray for the healing process to begin and for acceptance of these difficult times. We ask that you keep our law enforcement officers, firefighters, and servicemen and women abroad that are protecting our borders out of harm's way. And we ask so that the Lord make possible the reunification with family members. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Captain, for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Roll call. Commissioner Luciano Suarez.
Yes.
Commissioner Rhonda Rodriguez.
Present.
Commissioner Candida Blanca.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanes advised that he's running late. He'll be in soon. And Mayor Eduardo Mujina.
Present.
You have a quorum, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Next item.
Item 4, presentation of minutes for approval for November 19, 2014, regular City Commission meeting by Mayor and City Commission.
I make a motion. Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 5.
Item 5, report of the city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Commission. There is a written report that I prepared today. As you know, I was away for a couple of days, and so very briefly, the flyers for the December 16, 2014 lighting of the tree ceremony are at the printers as we speak. The city will be delivering flyers to all the residents starting next week, midweek. We look forward to the celebration and the display of the holiday spirit. Everything is in place and has been coordinated through my office and with the assistance of my assistant and the city clerk and obviously Mr. Pena and Captain Avila. So December 16th, we've given you color copies of the flyer, and that will be placed on the city's website as well and on the city's Facebook page. The next item is a matter that was brought to our attention by the Florida Department of Transportation. They are making arrangements to do improvements to the crosswalk for the Southwest 67th Avenue intersection on Southwest 8th Street. We were notified of the proposed improvements via email. Mr. Pena has been in conversations with the Florida Department of Transportation. I had an opportunity to speak to Ana Arvelo this afternoon, who shared with us a sketch that we have attached to the report illustrating the high emphasis on the actual crosswalks. And basically what they're doing is making sidewalks more visible by striping them as they have in other areas, and they're using a high standard asphalt. We had requested that they consider something, maybe some brick or pavers for the intersection. However, the Florida Department of Transportation has advised that a study that they conducted do not suggest that that is a safe option to use, and that they would be unable, if they were to go that route, to either pay for the brick intersection crosswalk or pavers or some kind of artistic concrete to maintain that We asked them to look into this matter for us, but as you know, they own the right-of-way, and we have no jurisdiction over it. What we wanted to do is bring something or suggest something that would be aesthetically pleasing now that our commercial corridors are starting to redevelop and redesign themselves, looking into the future. That would have been aesthetically pleasing. If you have any questions, the sketch is attached. I've also attached a string of emails back and forth so that you can follow along in the conversations that have occurred. I believe, Mr. Mayor, that I sent you a copy of this via email to
Yes, you
brief
did.
you on it, and so I just wanted to report it for the record. The next item in my report is a status on the Miami-Dade County Cultural Grant that the city applied for. The city filed a cultural grant application through the office of Robert Ruano, our grant writer, in the amount of $3,750 for a spring art festival that the mayor has been basically promoting and basically advising that he would like to bring to the city. That required a city match in the same amount of $3,750. And the money would, if funded, go towards the Spring Art Festival sometime late March. Today, we were unofficially notified that we have been recommended for an amount of $2,973 for the event by Miami-Dade County Office of Cultural Grants. We have not received an official notification. Once we do, we may need to place this item on the agenda because it's an event that we have estimated will probably have a price tag of about $15,000 to $17,000 once we have our entertainment, our refreshments, all the equipment that we have to order, the tents that the city would have to provide for the artists, and obviously there would be some sponsorship opportunities here. That being said, once we get official notification, and I assume we will have that for the first meeting of January, the commission will need to make a decision on whether or not to proceed with this project because of the funding and the money situation. So I'm just bringing to you what I have heard as of today. Children's Trust Grant. The city has made a grant application again through Mr. Ruano's office to the Children's Trust in the amount of $150,000. Our grant application is attached for your ready reference, and much of the grant work was accomplished over the last few days, actually over the Thanksgiving weekend, between Mr. Guestwicki and Mr. Ruano, as I was out of town and unable to access my emails. But we had initially met, and using a literacy emphasis for our tutoring program, for the after-school program, and our summer camp program, we have basically formulated a grant application that would bring, that would basically solidify what we're offering at the rec center and perhaps open it up to more kids that would benefit from the private tutoring sessions that we're offering, or not private, but for small groups. So as soon as I know what we're being recommended for, I will most definitely report back to you. Our state representative, Eric Fresen, also expressed to us that he would be happy to write a letter sponsor or actually endorsing and supporting our application. I actually sent his office a copy of the application this afternoon or early this morning, and he did respond, and we have drafted a draft letter for his signature and review. He will be writing a letter supporting that. I believe Commissioner Suarez was in the office when that happened. It could have been early this afternoon. It was a long day. But that being said, I think I copied you, Mr. Mayor, as well on that email, and we hope that with the support of our state representative, and I look to also seek the support of our district commissioner for this grant, that the city will be considered for $150,000. That would be, I think, an added benefit to the City of West Miami Recreation Center. Please browse through it at your leisure and advise if you have any questions on this application. Last but not least, the field work has commenced in connection with the audit pertaining to the end of the fiscal year that ended September 30th, 2014. We have accommodated the auditors in the city's conference room, and we are availing the accounting staff to those efforts, and obviously any efforts from a clerical standpoint that they may need. They'll probably be here through the holidays, in and through probably the latter part of January, in and out. And then the senior staff comes in, and that's when things sort of blend together in terms of preparing the financial statements. You will receive a memo from my office, hopefully before the end of the year, with what we believe the final numbers are going to be in terms of our projections for the fiscal year, now that Mercedes has closed the fiscal year. So we will be presenting you in a couple of weeks with a memo with a breakdown by enterprise funds of where we will be without the entries that are made from the auditors, so that you can get a snapshot of what the finances look like as of September 30th. That concludes my report, and I welcome any questions that you may have.
Any questions for the city manager? Okay, next item.
Item 6, report of the city attorney.
Very briefly, and I will ask the manager to assist me in some voids in my report. I just wanted to report on a letter that was sent to the mayor on a property located at 6278 Southwest 13th Street in West Miami. This is a property that had been more or less abandoned. I have a title search which I did commencing prior to 1996 with the original owner of Alberto Maria Garcia, that had long passed away. The short end of the story is that for the last couple of years, the city had been battling conditions on the property which are very dire. If you see the photograph that I have from the pool taken by the enforcement department, it's actually, the pool water is black. I mean, you can't see through it. And other issues. There was a mortgage from H&R Block in the amount of $386,750 on 10/26 year 2006. At some point, the bank foreclosed on this property. However, the owner of the property filed a suggestion of bankruptcy with the United States Bankruptcy Court, and that stays everything. Our claims of liens and notices were from June 4, 2014. In other words, we would be inferior to the existing mortgages, and presently there's really nothing that we could do because this is on the purview of the bankruptcy court. My understanding, perhaps I will need the assistance of Mr. Pena. My understanding is that there have been very little cooperation from the realtor that happened to have written the letter to the mayor, and I'd like to hear from Mr. Pena, if you can, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. The property at 6278, like Mr. Rios stated, has been derelict for a while. The property is completely overgrown. Our main concern is the pool in the back, which is, like Mr. Rios stated, water's full to the top, but it's turned black. And access to the property doesn't really have the protection it should have. It's barricaded right now with a couple of garbage cans, but it should be self-locking mechanisms on the property. And the realtor hasn't really taken any action, or whoever owning the property at this point, to clean it up or fix it up. So we cited it back in June, I believe.
June 4, 2014.
Correct. And at that point, the fines have just been accumulating on the property.
The only reason that I'm reporting this to the commission is that there was a letter disseminated by the realtor, Mr. Wolfarb, to the mayor and others, that the administration and myself, my office, have failed to respond to any of his requests. I don't know how we can tell them in plain English that he has no authority to represent the mayor, the owner of the property. It is the owner of the property that has the obligation to come before the commission once a lien has been filed and ask for the mitigation after the violation had been cleared. Number one, the violation had not been cleared. Is that correct, Mr.?
No, there's still been.
Oh, okay, they're still there. Number two, the gentleman offer $4,000 as payment of mitigation and a debt which I think ascends to $56,000. Number three, he had a conversation with the manager that was unaware of that situation of the conversation back and forth, and he even threatened the administration of with action with the public and so on and so forth, because we were not accepting a profit of $4,000. Number one, we're not in the profit business, we're in the compliant business. Because this has been derelict and a sore site for all of the neighbors that have been suffering from the smell and the mosquitoes and the vermin that have been created by this awful situation. By the way, when a suggestion of bankruptcy is filed before the bankruptcy court, everything stays. In other words, when we filed our liens, we were totally unaware that such a suggestion had been filed with the bankruptcy court. Otherwise, we would not have been able legally to file a lien on a property that is under the supervision of the bankruptcy court. So here we are, because of lack of information by the owner and the realtor, that we are in the midst of something that we really have no remedy except by filing ourselves a notice of appearance before the United States Bankruptcy Court, and make my case, or make our case, that that property is a danger to the safety, health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the city of West Miami. So I just wanted to advise the mayor and the commission, so the record is fully cleared, that we have gone beyond and to exclusion of any efforts to assess the gentleman, but we have had no response at all.
Thank you.
If the manager wants to add to my statements and her conversation with the gentleman.
That
She's welcome.
represents an accurate statement of what was stated. Basically, he accused us of the house being going into foreclosure because we have not responded to adequately and efficiently and expeditiously to their request to mitigate for $4,000. The house has aside from the pool issue, has a lot of code violations and has a lot of obnoxious growth, and it's been sitting there abandoned for quite some time, at least a couple of years. So there's a
There are
short
people
sale.
living there, by the way.
Right, and a short sale takes a very long time. So you're talking about a property that is going to continue to be an eyesore and a health, safety, and welfare situation for the balance of the neighborhood. This gentleman just refuses to go to the property owner and ask the property owner to take some steps to comply before he comes and mitigates the fine. We have responded, Mr. Mayor, and I would encourage all of you, if you are contacted by this individual regarding this property, to just refer them to our office, and we will continue to work through the city attorney's office to provide him with assistance, but he
We
just
also-
refuses to adhere.
We also advise the gentleman and the owner that it was not the proper forum for any individual to contact the mayor or the commissioners, that this is something administratively until such time as they find the situation has been cleared. I can show, and I have at your disposal more than an inch of research that we had made on that property, commencing on what I stated before in 1996. So our job have been done. The administration have worked expeditiously. I have to commend Mr. Pena and and Charlie McDermott on what they have done. But simply, we are facing a situation that eventually I think that we will have to seek assistance from the federal court.
Thank you. I I do have a question. I mean, can we do something, I mean, besides the violations, I understand, but especially the one on the pool, can we do something about it? I mean, just accumulating a fine? I mean,
Once the item goes back to the code enforcement board, at that time, we could ask the code enforcement board if we would proceed with an abatement of the property.
okay. Because we're talking about a health issue,
Correct.
from what I understand.
But we have to first go to them to ask for an abatement.
Okay?
And so we still would have to seek a leave from the United States bankruptcy court, because we have no jurisdiction. This home and everything else technically is owned by the judge. I mean, I'm sort of exaggerating, but this is under direct supervision of the court.
Mhm.
There's nothing that can be done or done against. There's no lawsuit that we can file, except through by leave of the bankruptcy court. At some point, the bankruptcy court allowed the property to go into a short sale, and they have tried 3 times, right, to go into have the foreclosure sale, but A, the bank will not sell for any less, and B, the owner will not cooperate, so here we are, okay? And again, the reason that I'm taking so long is that it really concerned me, the fact that misrepresentations were made to the commission through the mayor, and this is something that once the charges are made, it remains forever. So I just wanted to be sure that we were telling you our side of the story, and the side of the story that I know how diligent Yolanda Aguilar have been in this particular matter.
Okay? Thank you. Next.
I have a question, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Attorney, can we ask the judge if the judge allow the city empty the pool and take the water out? Because the mosquito,
That will be through an abatement proceeding that we would have to, we just cannot go into a home.
no. I ask if we can do that with the judge.
We can, number one, file as an appearance as a party in federal court. So the answer is yes, but we would have to ask leave of court, number one, to make an appearance, and number two, to seek from the court remedies, because the court has appointed a sort of a supervisor on this particular case. So we would have to go through him, and we also have to go through the bank in order to get into that. So they had roadblock and stonewall our ability to do something. An abatement would be the proper thing, as Mr. Pena stated. So we're going to try, but
Because,
it is expensive, by the way.
well, but this is a mosquito situation, that pool full or half full of water, dirty waters, is a healthy hazard for the whole community.
Okay, if,
And I think the judge will understand that.
well, if
I
you so
think, I don't know,
instruct
you're
me,
the counselor.
if
But
you so
you say
instruct
the
me, I
water
will
is
do that.
black, how long the water has been there in that
For
pool?
quite a while.
Because we should look for a remedy for that. Almost in an emergency basis, I think.
Thank you. I concur with the Commissioner's orders. Before we go into the next item, I want to acknowledge the President of the Vice Mayor. Thank you.
Duly noted.
You're excused. No problem. You're here. That's the important part.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, before we leave this item, because now I'm in doubt, the abatement process costs the city money. So in order for us to be able to spend money on that property, Mr. Villalobos has to go before the federal bankruptcy court to the trustee to get authorization from them or get them to clean up the property. So he needs to be instructed to do so in order for us to do the abatement.
Correct.
And nobody agreed to his question whether he should proceed to the
Okay, I'm sorry, we misunderstood, at least I did. Well, in that case, I'll ask the question to the attorney and the manager. How much money are we talking about? I mean, it's always a
Well,
question.
I really don't know, because it's up to the federal court. Sometimes they're very expeditious, and sometimes they're not. But normally, those fees, whatever we would charge the city, will come out also, on the normal circumstances, will come out also from the proceeds of the bankruptcy, either sale or whatever. So I can't tell you. I don't.
Okay, Madam Manager?
Mr. Mayor, I have one quick question, and if I may, ask
absolutely.
the attorney, would the federal bankruptcy court entertain an emergency motion or an emergency pleading, given the fact that this poses a health, welfare, and safety situation for the community?
The court should pay attention to something like that. The court sees every day, and bankruptcy is a particular place where people go after they have exhausted all of the remedies. They have spent all the money. They sometimes they have overbilled, overcharged their bank accounts, and so on and so forth. So when you go out to the court and say this is an emergency, this is something that they hear time and again every day. So it's, you know, it all depends on what the judge feels. But number one, what I did was I contacted the bank that is foreclosing on this property. Number two, I attempted to call the gentleman again, and I sent them emails. And number three, I tried to contact the trustee. That have failed to respond to me thus far. So prior to spending an enormous amount of money and time, I will advise you, and I'll advise the administration. But as you know, under normal circumstances, I'd be very, very frugal. And there's a lot of times that I do a lot of things that I don't even charge the city, okay?
We thank you for
So
that.
this time you have to trust me.
Okay,
If I may, Mr. Mayor, a follow-up question to the attorney so that we can, and this will help Mr. Penna define the abatement process as well. Can we include in that motion or that appearance before federal bankruptcy court, can we include an abatement process that the city will undertake to try to clean up? The place looks like a forest. I've had calls from neighbors. I'm sure your office has already received calls from neighbors. You have possums, and and obviously you have them everywhere in the neighborhood, but it's particularly more attractive to these types of animals that can bite children or anybody in the community. Obviously, the issue of the overgrowth in the property is, to me, as serious as the pool issue. Can we combine those efforts and plead our case so that we can get in there and know what type of abatement process we can serve this property?
And of course, the cost of that abatement process.
Correct. That's why the abatement process is something that the city would hire out to do. However, the trustee, through bankruptcy, he is the actual owner for the court of that property. So he could have the work done as long as we advise him that it needs to be done.
The property is not in foreclosure. The property is owned by the property owner. From what I understand in my conversations with Mr. Goldfarb and Mr. Villalobos, the property owner has absolutely no money to make any of the necessary cleanups or corrections to the property. He is caught in a very difficult predicament financially. He is willing to short sale the property that the bank has approved for that process to begin. Apparently, there's an interested buyer. But the short sale process could take anywhere from 90 days to 8 months. And our position is that the city cannot, knowing the situation that we have there, which is very dangerous for the community, we cannot wait 8 months before somebody actually addresses the situation. Therefore, the trustee basically cannot make a decision on the property because it's got to be made by the property owner.
No, that's not correct.
Excuse me, Mayor.
It's up to the trustee
hold on a
to
second.
advise the court that this is
I
an
got the Vice
emergency.
Mayor,
And this is what I'm trying to do. You see, although Mr. Goldfarb represented to Mr. Pena, to myself, and to the manager, that the property was not under foreclosure, the property, in fact, is under foreclosure, and an amended final judgment was filed in favor of Wells Fargo to foreclose the property on September 17, 2013. This was after, because again, the Realtor forgot or failed to advise us of that situation. We had to spend a lot of time digging all this information because there was nowhere to be found or proposed by them. So the
Mr.
proper
Vice
way
Mayor,
is
question?
what I'm following, which is number
We're going
one.
away to the point.
Uh,
We're moving away from the main point. I brought to the table.
Commissioner, the attorney's talking, we need to keep the record straight, so one at a
You have
time,
to go to
please.
the point.
The point,
Where the
the
point?
point is very simple. Mr. Attorney, you're done for now, or you're still?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Vice Mayor, you have a question.
Thank you, Howard. Mr. Pena, this pool, is it enclosed? Is there a fence around it?
There's a wood fence around the property.
There's a wood fence around the property, so let's say children playing in the neighborhood, could they get into this?
It's not very secure, yes.
It's not very secure. So then, what we have is a life safety issue.
Sure.
Which supersedes any inconvenience anybody can have. So taking that under consideration, I am sure a judge would deem it, it's important to, in order, to be secured, to be cleaned up, to be made safe. So.
I'm sure of this, the only reason that it had not been done through the judge yet is that the failure by the person in charge to advise us of the true nature of the situation. We would just simply advise, number one, that it was not under foreclosure, which it is, and number two, that there was a short sale, and all you had to do was mitigate the fine, and that would be it. Okay? That's all the information we had. All of the rest of the information, I had to find it for them.
Well, I think this person, whomever he is, I think he needs to be put in a notice that, the situation is creating a life safety issue.
He
And-
has, Mr. Vice
He
Mayor.
has.
It's already have.
Yes. Okay, let's do the following, and we can talk about all this all night. So, Mr. Attorney, if you can look further into it, and then report back to us. I know we don't have a meeting this month,
That is correct.
so it will not be till next year, but, something like this, as the boss mayor mentioned, it is a life safety situation, so I think, just via memo or something, report back to us, and if we had to hold a special meeting or something,
Mayor, but I did not finish my point.
go ahead and finish your point.
Do you need this table authorize you to ask the judge permission to empty the pool?
Yes,
I just want to empty the pool.
yes.
Don't go around, because then we will do nothing. Can you, if we authorize you for that?
Yes, sir.
Mayor, can we
Oh,
have a motion for that?
Beautiful. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay,
Ca-
done.
Can I say something else?
Yes.
If you empty the pool, it's still a hazard.
You need to secure the
Empty and secure,
property.
because,
Yeah, but I mean about the mosquito.
okay, it needs, primarily, more importantly than anything else, it needs to be secure. It needs to have a fence around it, so no child can wander in there and fall.
Thank
We
you.
will work
You
with
may
the city
have-
attorney
Empty
and,
Okay. We have a lot of people in the audience waiting. Let's move on to the next. I'm sorry, my apologies. I thought the reports were going to be very simple, and as you can see, when I think something's very simple, it becomes very complex. But, we're trying to do the best
That's it.
we can over here, the situation. Do we have anything in the engineer report?
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Well, the next item.
Item 8, committee reports, report of the mayor.
I didn't have a report prepared, but tell you what, I just realized is the last meeting of the month. I thought we had one more meeting, and the only thing I'm gonna do right now is a very simple brag about City of West Miami. It has been a wonderful year. Finally, we're in recovering from the economy. We have seen things that we've been working for a long time in conjunction with many people here. We were finally able to bring a building department to the City of West Miami. We did that this year, something that we have worked for a long time with the help of many people, the administration, the attorney. I know very dear to Mr. Penna's heart. And it's something to help the City of West Miami. Many residents are very pleased that this has happened. We finally have a website that we didn't have before. As a result of bringing the building department, there has been a lot of investment in the City of West Miami, which is going to help our tax base. Every time that the budget time comes to the table, I can tell you I get sick, because it's always the same thing, and it goes out through every, and perhaps this table we're not the typical politicians, because we always look at how, from a business point of view, bring business to the city instead of taxing our residents and lowering people's salary. So that's what you see across every city. So very happy to report at the end of the year that it has been a wonderful year. I think for the first time in a long time, we have a very strong commission. Everybody committed, and working together for a better West Miami. And I'm not going to be long-winded. That's basically, it's a good year, and I think our next year is going to be even better. So with that, next item.
Item 9, citizen presentations. No presentations, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. If you will give me the courtesy, I would like to take some items out of order. I would like to go into, since we finished with the reports, I would like to go into 11B.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Item 11B, under item 11, new business agenda items, item 11B, presentation of proclamation in support of Healthy Weight Champions Recognition Program to Olga Connor from the Department of Health by Mayor and City Commission.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, this evening in the audience, we have here Ann Karen Weller. She's a registered nurse and has all these wonderful titles, but she is the director of the Florida Health Office for Miami-Dade County, and also a friend of the City of West Miami that works for the Department of Health as well is Olga Connor. She has been an active public servant for many years, and I'll leave it at that. That being said, Mr. Mayor, they're here this evening to receive the proclamation that the commission approved. And aside from that, I'd like to report that the City of West Miami did apply for the Healthy Weight Champion Yearly Award. We were actually contacted by Miami-Dade County District 6 office and Olga Connor, and this is an award that is given to a municipality that is very cognizant of nutrition alternatives and obviously a healthy lifestyle. And because both our community center and our recreation center are a great fit, we have submitted our application, and hopefully our city will be recognized by the state of Florida. That being said, I don't know if these two wonderful ladies would like to add something to that.
Would you like to come to the podium, please?
I would like to add that it's always great to come to the City of West Miami, and that I've worked with the City of West Miami through my career. So, and with Yolanda and the commission, and so it's great to be here, and we're glad that you're supporting our healthy communities initiatives.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm welcome once again.
The proclamation.
Do you want to say a few words?
I also want to thank you all for.
Could you speak into bring the mic a little bit closer for the
Sure.
record?
Okay. I'd like to thank you all for applying for our award, and also that we are the Department of Health able to help the community in any way we can to, as far as healthier lifestyles. That's what we do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And with that, I would like to invite our colleagues to the front.
As you go to the front to issue your award, Mr. Mayor, I would like to report for the record that the Florida Health Department is linked to our website, and all of your announcements get published, all your press releases get published. The minute I get them, the IT department receives that, and we actually go out and publish it on Facebook and on the city website. Thank you.
This is on behalf of the city of West Miami, and I'm not going to read all the where that.
That's for the attorney too.
That's for the attorney.
From
Basically, we want to present this proclamation to the Healthy Way Community Champion Recognition Program. And from us, from the mayor and the commission for the city of West Miami. And it's great to do something with somebody
Mira.
that we're so familiar with a familiar face and people that
Este
we
es
love
el
to work
interlocal
with.
agreement.
So, there you go.
que yo propongo.
Congratulations.
El local agreement que él me mandó a mí, ¿verdad?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pero esto es un interlocal agreement que él me dio, ¿ok? Yeah.
Thank you, Olga. Felicidades.
Olga, I'll send you the pictures to the mail.
Go to the website también.
The parties agree that each individual solely, separately, personally,
Ahora viene lo que me dio ahora.
liable and responsible for the actions of the officers, agents, and employees, the performance of the respective officers. Okay? Entonces, además de eso,
Okay,
Felicidades.
Mr. Mayor, if you allow me a
Yes, please.
suggestion to item 11A is a public hearing that had been advertised, and I would suggest you to take that item.
Before that, Mr. Riquemati's case.
Go-
Mayor, if I may, if
please
I
do
may
guide
interject.
me through,
The city clerk is correct. We have a public hearing announcement, and in order to comply with the requirements of our notice, I would encourage you, before you go into the other item that I would
Okay.
ask you to take out of turn, is to, maybe through motion of the commission, defer the public hearing, or open the public hearing item and continue it to a time certain this evening, so that you could go back to the agenda item so that we can comply with your notice requirements.
okay. Madam Clerk, can you read into the record, please?
Item 11A, second reading, public hearing, an ordinance of the mayor and city commission of the city of West Miami establishing certain regulations with parking control devices commonly known as parking meters, authorizing the city administration to conduct studies and recommend to the city commission areas where parking meters should be installed, authorizing the installation of parking meters in areas determined by the city commission, establishing payment for the parking meters pursuant to resolutions adopted by the city of West Miami, mayor and city
y
commission.
esto me preocupa.
Thank you. We open the public hearing, and we close the public hearing. We would like to continue this item to a time certain later on tonight.
Okay, Mr. Mayor.
Next,
Mayor, I have a question.
I need a motion. Do we need a motion for that?
Yes, you do.
Okay, I need a motion. Okay, I need a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yes, Commissioner.
I have a question for the distinguished ladies from the health department. When was the last time you was here in our community center?
I have been here like for 5 years.
4 or 5 years? You don't know our community center. You should come. You should come to see our community center here and Rebecca Sosa multipurpose building that we have in the 62nd Avenue in 8th Street. You will be surprised. We give you free lunch the day you come. We
Absolutely.
invite you for. We invite you
call
for
me.
lunch.
Anytime you would like to come, we'll let Marilyn know. And obviously, not only do you get to interact with the seniors, you may want to plan a presentation because that's very important for them.
Yes,
Maybe on nutrition items, especially for elderly folks, vaccinations, that type of information that is very beneficial.
Yeah, you let me know
to
when
your
you come.
community.
I take you to Rebecca Sosa Multipurpose. And
Absolutely.
it's a wonderful thing that we have in this city. I tell you, this city is a surprise city. We have nice things here. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, any other item? Can I take item 11C, or do you have any other suggestion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, so 11C.
Item 11C, report by the city manager and request for mitigation of water bill balance of $2,459 by property owner Julio Bertemati. City manager, mayor, and city commission.
Madam Manager.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Commission, this is an item that is brought to you after discussion with our city attorney and obviously the authority of my office. We have basically resolved the issue at our level. However, Mr. Villalobos advised that in order to pursue further mitigation of this particular case, that it should come before the mayor and city commission for a decision. Julio Bertemati, a resident of the city of West Miami, and his wife are here representing their property at 5951 Southwest 12th Street. That property, they have lived there for several years, and they had an exorbitant water bill as a result of a breakage in their pipe. They have been in conversations with my office, and Mr. Pena has been involved as well. They were facing a bill of $4,890.12 as a result of that, the broken pipe. During our conversations, I also encouraged Mr. Bertemati to seek some remedy through his insurance company, only to find out that they didn't have the flood component that would have perhaps assisted them with getting reimbursed and maybe also be reimbursed for the repairs. That being said, Mr. Bertemati's consumption history is attached. We've basically surveyed the account since 2010, and obviously the high bill comes at a billing period where his bill went from anywhere from 12 to 14 cubic feet of consumption to 77 feet of consumption. So the consumption was enormous. He accrued a water bill for $2,459, and obviously then the sewer charge applied. Our office provided him with a one-time credit of 50% on the sewer portion of the bill. Still, that reduction, which is given to everybody consistently with this type of situation, the adjustments that we gave him amounts to $1,321.72. That still leaves the Bertemati family with a balance of $3,468.40. Mr. Bertemati believes that we should mitigate this bill and basically revise the bill to reflect his normal consumption. However, I'm tied, my hands are tied. I don't have the authority to do this. Just to give you a little bit of background, and we had this discussion, Mr. Bertemati met with us, and I discussed it further with the city attorney. The county does not provide the city of West Miami does not give us credit for any water losses, because we are considered a bulk customer, and under the bulk customer agreement, there are no provisions at all for them to give us a credit in the water bill. However, we have a margin that we adjust on these bills for situations similar to what Mr. and Mrs. Bertemati have experienced during this unusual bill. Mr. Pena has pictures. We understand there were emergency repairs done on site by the property owner and a relative. And so we have made some recommendations to avoid future problems with the pipe. Actually asked to, recommended to the family to go ahead and replace the pipe to the meter to avoid it. These are old houses, and obviously these things come with old houses. They were unable to ascertain that there was a leak for quite some time because it was outside the house in an area that perhaps they didn't go to every single day. It's not like a toilet leak that you hear it. It is something that happened on the side of the property, if I'm not mistaken.
Behind the property.
Behind the property, I'm sorry, outside the house, and so God knows how long that pipe had been broken. I mean, there's really no real idea. The only thing we can go by is the actual reading from one trimester to the other one. So it's here for your consideration. I don't know if Mr. Bertemati would like to add something
Why
to
why
the
do we do the
presentation.
following? Let's keep the record straight. State your name and address for the record, and then anything that you would like to add to this.
Sure. Good evening. My name is Julio Bertomari. I'm joined by my wife, Maria Cristina Garcia, and our soon-to-be daughter, Natalia, hopefully next week. We reside in 5951 Southwest 12th Street, just down the road from here. Wanted, pretty much what Ms. Aguilar said was correct. Wanted to add a couple things, just to give you guys a full story of it. The water meter was read on September 10th by the city. On September 24th, Maria, and I apologize, I don't remember her last name.
Maria Fernandez.
Maria Fernandez from the city gave me a call about 9:45 in the morning and said, "You have a massive leak at your house." And I said, "I don't, because I've never seen anything. Nothing's leaking. Nothing's going on." She's like, "Well, we just looked. We're running the bills, and it looks like you're running a commercial laundry at your house." I'm like, "Well, I have a new dishwasher, but I don't run a commercial laundry out of my house." So I turned back. I was on my way to work. Turned back, came back, and she had advised me to go to the meter. I went to the meter was spinning, just nonstop spinning. So I called her back, said, "Hey, look, the meter's spinning. I'm going to turn off the water to the house." I went and turned the water off to the house. Went back, the meter was still spinning. So the leak wasn't inside the house, but it was outside of the house. So from the back, the meter's in the easement on the back of the house. I started looking. I'm like, I don't see anything. When I get closer to the house, I can, everything's quiet. I'm looking, and I'm like, okay, it has to be here. And we, sorry, I forget his name. Not
Ralph.
Ralph. I always want to call him Raul. I'm not sure why, but I always try to call him Raul. Ralph came over. He shut off the meter, and we determined that there's a 18-inch about cement walkway surrounding around the house. So we determined it had to be under there. So I tried calling a couple plumbers. I couldn't get anybody to come. My stepfather is very handy, which I am not, but he was able to help. He was able to help me out. We got a jigsaw. We sawed through the cement. We pulled it out, and then we found out that there was a little piece that was broken, and I kept it just in case. So if you can determine, I have pictures here if the commission would like to look at. Should have enough for all of you. If I can approach.
Absolutely. Do you have a copy for the attorney?
We have a copy.
Oh, you have a copy.
He
Okay.
emailed it to us.
Okay.
So if I can keep on going, it's the line from the meter comes to my house, and then it comes up. So not at the elbow, but right before the elbow is where the leak happened. It was underground, maybe a foot or so underground. I really couldn't tell. Ralph and I saw a little bit of water before that there, but it wasn't significant to alarm me or alarm anyone that there was a leak. We got it fixed right before 4:30, before the city closed. I went back. I sent a poorly worded letter because I was rushing to the city, letting them know that we discovered the leak, we fixed it, and advising that any credit or anything that we could get would be greatly appreciated. Maria contacted me saying that they would look at it. I've spoken to Ms. Aguilar, and by email, maybe 6 or 7 email exchanges that we've had, and we had a meeting between Ms. Aguilar, Mr. Pena, and myself, where we discussed this. my initial thing was I went and I started doing a little research. For background, I'm an attorney as well. I do some real estate work, so I was looking around and I came across the county's policy when there's an undetected leak. The county's policy when an undetected leak states that they will forego charging on the sewer, and they will charge you 50% on the water. And then they base it on your consumption from the previous year. So they'll take your, and this is only if you have quarterly billing. If you have monthly billing, they don't give this. And this is a one-time thing that the county does. So you'll take the 4 prior bills that you had, so the year before, they'll figure out what your average is. They'll subtract that from the consumption, from the large consumption, and then you will pay 50% of the water. So I presented that to Ms. Aguilar, and I said, I'm not sure what the city can do. I was told that they can only do 25% of the sewer, but I'd like to, bring this to the attention of the city and see if there's any way we can work something out towards this. I looked at the ordinances. I didn't see anything saying that the city could do it, but I didn't see anything in the ordinances saying that the city could not do it. Maybe the city attorney knows more about the ordinances than I do, but I didn't find anything on there. So that's where I started off as, if we can do something closer to this, I think that could work. On top of that, since the water leaked before it got into my house, I brought this to the attention of the city, and I said, we're being charged for the sewer, and the sewer's everything that comes out. And most of this water seeped into the ground, into the aquifer, didn't come into the house. So my wife and I don't feel that it's reasonable for us to have to pay for that. I know that the city right now is only offering 25 or 50% of the sewer. I'd like to mitigate that entire amount, and then I'd like to be able to discuss anything that the city can do with the water. I understand from conversations that I've had with the city that they're a bulk buyer. I don't understand the full concept or the rates. I haven't looked at any of that. I'm not sure how that structure works. I've been told that the city does not get the same benefits as a resident that just gets their water directly from the county. But I am looking for any mitigation that the city can provide. My wife and I are. It's anything that the city can do would be greatly appreciated. We definitely do not believe that the sewer portion should be charged, because it didn't come in. If you want to charge us for the regular consumption basis on that, that's something that I'd be open to discussing. I'm not sure if you have any questions of me. I'd greatly, I'm here.
Well, I mean, when I first saw the number that is actually printed over here, 2,459, I thought that was a huge number. Now, listening to the manager, the previous number was even higher, which, I don't know, maybe my memory, it's incorrect, but I don't think we have ever had a case like this, ever. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is like something exceptional. I never, I mean, if I personally got a bill like this or even higher, like the number before, I would have probably freaked out. I would be like doing more than what you did, probably. I don't know. I suggest see if we can do something. I think what Julio, right?
Yes.
It's presenting, I think, is logical, but again, I understand that the county has certain rules and West Miami has certain rules, and I know your hands are tied because you brought this to, that's the reason it's here.
It's on the agenda. And Mr. Mayor, I would defer, if just for the, from a courtesy standpoint, to your Director of Public Works, and basically he knows what's going on here, and maybe he can also make a recommendation. I can tell you right off the bat that there is a reduction that we can give the Bertemati family on the environmental tax portion, because obviously the environmental tax is predicated on the actual consumption. That is monies that we also pay to the county, which, by the way, we do not get any relief from that because that's all predicated on on the actual volume of water and sewer purchases from Miami-Dade County. But we can work something out to also mitigate the $338 environmental tax.
I have a question for the manager.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Aguilar, before the attorney told you bring the issue to the table, what kind of agreement you was considering doing?
What we do customarily, we have done for the last 30 years, is offer in cases similar to this, I mean, this one is really high and it's unusual.
Customary.
We give up to 50% of credit on the sewer portion of the bill. That is what our office has consistently done with every case.
So this total.
And maximum of 10% on the water.
But $2,400, half of this is sewer. 1,200.
No,
Wait.
no,
Bettemati, hold.
no. The sewer,
No, let me ask Yolanda.
the sewer portion of the bill was 2,000, initially, the bill amount for the sewer portion only was $2,459 based on that trimester reading.
Well,
We applied a credit of half of that, which is $1,321.72.
So that's the number here, the water bill balance, $2,459. That's the total thing.
That is the sewer portion of the bill.
It's the water bill balance. That's the water bill. And the water bill is already the sewer also, right?
The total that he's mitigating, the 2,000.
It was 400,
Okay.
4,890.
What I left the meeting that we had with Mr. Penna, Mr. Bertemati, and our city attorney is that he wanted full mitigation of the $2,400 on the sewer portion of the bill, and any relief that could be offered to him on the water portion of the bill, which we actually offered a payment structure agreement over time until he was able to pay for it in.
So this number here is just for water.
That is correct. That is,
You already give credit for half of the sewer.
yes.
So what you're talking about is 50% of this water and 50% of the sewer?
Oh, he's seeking mitigation. No. We give 50% mitigation on the sewer.
So how much was the total of the sewer?
The sewer bill was $2,459.
Okay. Now, the half you give credit for?
We gave a credit for $1,321.72, leaving him with a balance of $1,137.28 on the sewer.
The sewer.
portion
So you
of
give
the
credit
bill.
for 1,300.
Right.
And do you give any credit for this, the water, 2,459?
No. The water bill, the water portion of the bill is $2,048.55. He made a one-time good faith payment until the issue was resolved of $100, which was applied to the account, leaving their water bill, the water portion of the bill, with a balance of $1,948.55.
So if you're talking about this 2,459 is 1,900.
$2,459 is your sewer portion of the bill
But
only.
you, here said the water bill, that's what I asked you. How much is the water?
The water is $2,048.55.
2,048. And then your idea is that he pay in full that.
Well, that's what we consistently have done in other cases. We've mitigated the sewer
The full
portion.
water and half of the sewer.
Correct.
That's what you do.
Correct,
customary.
correct.
So in this case, it's 1,300 for,
Plus 1,900.
That is correct.
so
He
it's
still
about
has a balance,
$3,400.
$34.68 with
34,
taxes.
32, well, and that's what you're trying to collect for him.
Yes,
And you come here to ask us to mitigate that number.
Yes.
yes.
I agree with you, to do something with you.
What is the total amount that he owes in everything?
$3,468.40 with the environmental tax, the stormwater fee, everything.
Total numbers, total.
$34.68.40.
Do not dissect, just a total.
That's after the 50% sewer credit that the city
That is correct.
graciously provided.
Initially, the bill was $4,800.
So it's about $3,300 what you
Yes, what I did was on October 31st, which is the due date for the water bill.
But let's go to the point. You come here with your debt is about 3,300, and you come to us to ask for the mitigation.
Yes.
Okay, wait, hold on. I would like to hear from Public Works Director, et cetera, the man that wears many hats.
Mr. Mayor, as Mr. Bertamanti stated, the leak was not visible, so it did go all into the ground. I don't have a problem with crediting the entire amount of the sewer bill as long as he gets billed for his customary usage based on the previous bills, which would eliminate half a big portion of the bill. The other one, the 2,048.55, that's water that we actually consumed through our wholesale customer agreement, so we do have to pay that to Miami-Dade Water and Sewer as part of the operation. Obviously, in that amount, we have profit built in to operate the system, so whatever you decide there, that would be up to you all to decide what kind of percentage, or if anything, there on the water bill.
How much would that be?
We have in some cases, if I may, we have mitigated water bills for up to a 10% on the water bills in similar cases. I would offer that we honor that in addition to mitigating the environmental tax and only charging the Bertematis for the environmental tax that they would normally consume. That's another savings of about $300.
Well, taking that under consideration that you just mentioned, and giving them 100% as far as the consumption of the sewer?
100% less what they normally would consume.
Correct.
The difference is the
What's the
mitigation.
normal consumption?
It all depends on their
On
bills.
More or less. And
Their bills run about $100 every quarter, so you're talking about probably a $30 or $40 bill, so
Yeah,
another $100.
this amount is totally disproportionate.
And the
so-
10% that you're going to offer, what's that figure?
The 10% figure on the water would
No,
come
no,
out.
everything together, the taxes, the sewer, and the 10%.
Okay, the stormwater tax is predicated on the entire bill, but I can give you a ballpark figure. It would be, give me 1 second, please. 245, 246 plus $300. Between the savings from the environmental tax and the 10% on the water would be an additional credit of, on top of the sewer credit, of $546.
When you say sewer credit, you talking 50% or 100%?
If you all agree to give him 100%.
My question to you is 100% of the sewer.
100%
What
less
is-
what he consumes, it
Yes,
would be the difference.
what is the figure? What is the bottom figure?
I would have to find out what he consumes on a normal basis
okay.
with his sewer bill. Give me 1 second, please.
You know, Mr. Bertamati, we have to pay for that water, you know?
I understand.
And if you don't pay, then the other residents pay.
I understand.
But, you know, since your wife's gonna have a baby and this was such an incredible unforeseen event, I think that we should
He's got to buy a lot of Pampers.
I think that we should be lenient.
And that's why when I started the conversation, Ms. Aguilar, I sent her the document that I found from the county, because I didn't know the issue with the bulk water, and she explained some of it to me in that, and part of what Mr. Bena said about the consumption of the sewer, I'd have no problem with, and that's actually built into what Miami-Dade does. One of my questions was, why, my first question before I knew anything was, why doesn't the city have some type of program like this that the county has? And that's when the whole bulk, consumption, and we understand that, the leak happened in our property. It wasn't visible. There was no way for us to know, and until if Maria wouldn't have called me and I would have gotten the bill another week or two later, it's even more of an amount that the next bill, there's already going to be 14 days where we're going to have to pay for some extended
Mr. Mayor,
leakage.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When Maria called you, how did she know? Because she was actually looking at the bill?
Yeah, she was looking at the
Readings.
the readings.
The readings.
And then I
To-
guess she,
To process the bill.
to process the bills. Because we didn't get the bill until, I think, beginning of October, sometime in October, but it was September 24th, and she's like, you have a massive leak. And that's,
So my question, Mr. Mayor,
No, it would be 101 for the trimester.
so that this doesn't happen again,
Less the 2048.
is there something we could do so that we're alerted,
I mean,
Maria gets an
that's a
alert if
Right.
all of a sudden the reading is like this?
That's a question.
I guess that's a Penna question.
Unless you go out to your meter and you look to see if it's,
Well,
if it's.
I'll give you an example. FPNL has implemented something like that. Before, somebody came to your house and read the meter.
Right.
Now, everything is electronic, so when they see a spike,
So we got a credit.
you know, they take
my
action.
question, like-
Unfortunately, we don't have such a sophisticated,
All the smart meters
Right,
all over
right, right.
Florida.
So we only know when Maria looks at the
When
actual.
we read it.
That would
The
be
only way when they read.
yeah.
and there,
Let me tell you.
No, I got an idea. I know that the Commissioner Suarez been working with us, revitalization of the water. I wonder if we can get some smart meters.
I want to comment to you, to all of you this,
24.
and listen to the, we get some grant money from the state to try to replace all the underground line with potable water.
204.
Because these lines are 70 years old.
Plus el
But one thing I see now, when they put the city lines,
504.
they bring the line to your home.
24.
And when you have a problem inside the home, you just turn it off the water. But
504.
when something happened between the city line and the house, like in his case, he have no way to turn off the water
Del
because there is no way. We don't have that. And when the time comes that we, thanks God, we will replace that. I'm going to talk one. We should put, and at the entrance, both, valves, so you can close the water there and here. So if the problem is in the yard, you just go to the line where the meter is and just close the water there.
But there's already the main water valve that you can turn off.
86.
No, but that's next to your house.
No, the
That's
line.
next to your house. What Commissioner Suarez is saying, right next to the meter,
Next to
as
the
it
meter.
comes out of the meter,
When it comes out from the meter, to put something, you cut the water there.
which,
Just
by the
turn
way,
it off there.
I have that in my house.
So like in this case, if you have a problem in the yard, you just close the water there and then you do the work.
yeah,
But he-
Ralph came to my house with a tool. It was
Yeah, he had to come,
a
yeah.
little tool, and it's very simple. It was just a half twist that he did. But he had to come because I had
But-
no idea how to
But
turn it off.
you have, if it's a weekend and Ralph is not here or something,
Yeah.
we, the residents, we don't have the way to close the water there by the meter. And we should consider now with the new lines, if we do it, to have that possibility. You to close the water.
By the way, this was going to be a short meeting. I really apologize.
Don't worry, Aaron.
No?
Don't worry.
Oh, no, I know, and according to all the cities.
One of, to answer Commissioner Rodriguez's question about what I was told by the city in one of our conversations, the meter reading happened on September 10th, but apparently it's an electronic meter that the city has, and Mr. Pena would be able to explain more. And not until they read all the houses that it comes back, and then they input it into the system. So that was the delay of the 14 days. So and luckily she called me, because and she got me, and if she wouldn't have, it could have gone until I got the bill.
She noticed that, if she
Thank-
doesn't notice, it's work.
No, I'm very thankful that her level of service was excellent and great, and she was able to do it. And once she told me that, my office is in Fort Lauderdale. I'm in court in Miami a lot, but I was on my way up there, and I just turned around, and I was able to come back. Luckily, I have a flexible schedule, and we got it fixed that day because she told me it's massive, so
Okay.
that worried me, and I came back.
Mr. Pena? What's the word?
We did some, I'm sorry, we did some, I got the numbers here.
Yeah. The credits could be applied once the manager gets you the final number. But what I wanted to state was that, remember, we have a very aged old system, plus every house here is over 50 to 60 years old too. So the water that residents consume, even though we up the charge a little bit for the maintenance operation of it, we do have to pay that water to Miami-Dade Water and Sewer. So we got to keep that in mind when you get the final number. That's the final number. Otherwise, we start charging you for his leak.
That's what I said. That's what we have to keep in
Okay,
mind.
all right.
That being said, Mr. Mayor, with a 10% on the water, a $300 credit on the environmental tax, and 100% of that sewer mitigation, he would be left with a total bill, and don't quote me to the penny, because Maria obviously has to do some calculations, but it will leave you with a total bill of about $1,801.
Will that cover the water?
That would cover the water as well. And we can extend the courtesy of an agreement so that he can pay over time the balance on this bill for as long as they keep the current bills up to date. And their current bills are about $100. I guarantee you it's going to be more with a baby. That being said, I mean, we could do, and we've done it in other cases, a promissory agreement that I'm sure that we can draft with the two legal minds here. We can draw up a promissory note and give them a spread of maybe 6 months, and we've done it in the past, and people own up to it, and so for as long as he understands that the current bills must be kept current.
This covers our cost to the county? More or
Yes.
less, more or
Yes.
less.
Yes, we're gonna take a hit on the environmental tax because the county will not give us a credit on that either. It's an
What is that?
environmental
Is that the
tax.
300 and?
That is the $338, and we're applying a $300 credit to that because normally your tax is predicated on a percentage, and I believe it's 7.5% of what you consume, and that is a bill that we get from the county based on the readings that they get at the meter. So, and there are no credits to the city, but I'm sure that we can go ahead and absorb that loss.
Okay, so can we go back to, the original number was 4,000?
$890 and change.
Okay,
We-
that is the water
Right.
plus the sewer.
Right. And we would recommend to you that you mitigate that bill to an $1,800 total
Motion.
combined bill.
Second.
Okay,
Let me,
One more issue. This will occur to a smaller degree on the next bill as well.
Correct.
So I don't know if any
Taking under consideration what you mentioned, Madam Manager, about giving him 6 months to pay that balance.
Yes.
is that,
we had discussed at one point until the end of the fiscal year. I don't know if that's still possible or, and it wasn't anything that, I'm not going to hold the
Right.
city to it, but that's something that we
Yeah.
had discussed.
We have, obviously, we have an obligation to the auditors once we give them the trial balances, and obviously, anything that is an aging, as an aging report there is gonna become an issue at audit time. Obviously, with a lesser amount of money, I didn't know whether you would be amenable to paying it in a 6-month period of time, which is usually the length of time. If you need to the end of the next fiscal year, I would certainly encourage us to do it as of September 1st, so that we can post your account with all the credits and everything will be up to date by the time the auditors come back next year. And we work with people like that. There are hardship cases. We've seen this in the past. There's another pending
for you?
case that we have, if that's
Uh,
acceptable.
If that's the best the city can do, I don't know how much more I can do. I know that the line is on my line. Mr. Bennett and I had discussed replacing the line so something like this wouldn't happen in the future,
Right.
which I definitely will do probably towards the beginning of the year once, I don't know what that expense would be, but once this expense would come through. It's something that it's $3,000. It's better than, not paying those $3,000, and I guess we can work out the details of the final
Sure.
number.
And your next bill will contain a credit. Maria will do that automatically. She's very good about that.
Motion.
There's a motion and a second.
there's a motion and a second.
Okay, so with the
But
mo-
no, let's do it with the revision for the extra length of time for repayment?
I would do a mitigation, if I may, Mr. Mayor, for you to entertain a motion to mitigate the bill in question here for the water sewer environmental tax to $1,801, and that's what it comes out to. We may be off by a couple of pennies.
Okay,
With an agreement that they will pay over time the balance as a result of this unfortunate situation. They will have an opportunity to pay it on or before September 1st, 2015, with the understanding that all other bills must be kept current, water bills.
Sorry, one more question. That would be 1801, not including the $100 credit, or including the $100 credit? I don't want to nickel and dime the city, but I just wanted to make sure that everything was out there.
We are going by the original amounts.
The original amount, okay.
Right, right. We're going by the original amounts.
okay. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor,
passes,
I
yes.
just want to advise the commission that I have been in conversation with Miami-Dade County Water and Sewer. I understand that they have never been done, but there's never a fault for asking. The worst they can tell me is no. So today I've been talking to the director and also to Ms. Alice Riesgo. I have a conversation with her tomorrow. So if we can do anything further for the gentleman and for the city, I assure you that we're still trying, okay?
Okay, thank you for that.
I want to thank all of you for your time. Mr. Villalobos, Ms. Aguilar, and Mr. Pena have been a great help throughout this. I can't say that I've had a bad experience, even with having to pay a large bill. And if it's okay with you, if you can excuse me, I'm sure my wife is hungry or tired.
Absolutely.
To go home.
Congratulations on your baby.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. Good holiday season.
Okay.
Thank you. We'll be in touch, Mr. Bertemat, if you want to call me so we can drop the agreement and send it over to Mr. Villalobos for his review.
Okay, and then I'll send you an email.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, I'm a little, I need your help and I need your guidance here. We got two gentlemen sitting, so can we take those two items before anything else?
Aaron. Yeah, the health insurance.
Since he's out of town, we
Right.
need to be nice.
Mr. Mayor, I received a text message, something unexpectedly came up with Mr. Boussaint's presentation and a conflict with another presentation. That's why they're not here this evening on the issue of the life insurance.
Okay, thank you.
So, Mr. Mayor,
So-
we are hearing then item 10, A and B in this case.
Okay, go ahead.
Item 10, under unfinished business. Item 10A, report by the Office of the City Manager and discussion in reference to city's life insurance group policy by City Manager, Mayor, and City Commission.
Very briefly, Mr. Mayor, I think you have the background on this, but let the record reflect that our group our medical insurance, our pharmacy, prescription, vision, and life component are held by the with the Florida Municipal Insurance Trust. This evening, we have Aaron Carper, our very able and capable representative. Aaron Carper is here this evening. We had one little glitch in the system, we want to call it that. At the time of the renewal, during the month of August, if my memory doesn't fail me, we went ahead and, under your authority, we renewed the bundle of our insurance packet with the FMIT. After the renewal, we were notified by Aaron that they were unable to secure a policy for the city of West Miami that had the levels of coverage on the life insurance, specifically when it dealt with the issue of a conversion clause. If I'm wrong, please stop me along the way. That being said, at that time, we discussed, Aaron even suggested that we go out and try to price the life component of the insurance so that we can actually bring another offer In the meantime, we went out to the market and we received several proposals from Lincoln, from Standard, from Mutual of Omaha. As you know, we had a representative that came to you. His name is Reese, and I forget the last name, with Mr. Bousset, who are independent New York Life agents. The issue at hand, in my opinion, because both proposals seem to cover the levels of coverage based on what we had or enjoyed in the past. And both insurance companies are AAA rated companies, so it's not a matter of which company is better. Both of them are highly rated companies. And the issue, I think, at hand is obviously the level of coverage for existing employees. The age factor has become an issue, a conversation issue, and also a portability and conversion opportunity for employees. And while I have some thoughts about attritioning, later on, I think it should be a separate issue, and I will bring that to you all during the month of January. In the meantime, I don't know, Mr. Suarez, Commissioner Suarez has had some questions. All of you have contacted my office to talk about coverage, as it is something that you have felt a moral obligation to your employees and to staff to provide them with the same level of coverage that we enjoyed in the past. So that being said, Mr. Mayor, if you would yield to Aaron Carper, who's got a long way back home tonight to talk to us about insurance.
I don't want to make a joke, but I'm staying in a hotel tonight, and I do not have any diapers to change in the middle of the night or first thing in the morning, so I might sleep pretty soundly tonight.
Good.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Madam Manager, you covered basically everything to the T on how it has progressed over the last couple of months. I apologize for really this being so difficult and this being so drawn out. The whole idea, from the Florida Municipal Insurance Trust was to revise our insurance program. And, what we're always trying to do is trying to find the very best for our members. And, we found through some discussions with some other folks that our life insurance was too expensive. And so we went out and went to market and did what we needed to do to try to find insurance options for, our cities, towns, and villages that we're more in line with what we're out there in the standard market. The standard insurance company did end up putting a good proposal together for the trust as a whole. It does end up saving, all our cities that are insured quite a bit of money. The overall cost is about a third, plus or minus a few percent of what it was beforehand, which is great news to our cities. However, that there are a couple of unique differences to this policy with respect to conversion and retirees, most importantly, that I know that we had some conversations about. I think we're all pretty in tune on everything that's happened with this over the last several weeks. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that y'all may have.
May I?
Yes.
Well, Mr. Arrow, all this was triggered because when you came here and presented the program that we have with you with the league, everybody was happy. Then was a concept that the company do not have portability. And then because that, the manager went out to get another company who have portability. In that time, you and me, we have a conversation, and you told me, I found the portability. Now Standard have a portability. So I told the manager, I don't have a portability. So if Omaha has portability, I don't found this company which is AAA and have portability. Also, the summary benefits is better than the other one. So that's why when Yolanda and me have a conversation over the telephone with you, that was the reason of the conversation. That now knowing that you have the portability and you are the company who have our group insurance, that's why I think we should, like we did 1 or 2 months ago, that we accept your proposal. We should keep it that way because we have the whole program with you.
Commissioner,
league.
when I was here back in August,
I think it was a
When
misinterpretation, or your company in that moment, you have another company do not have portability, but now you have it.
at that point, Commissioner, I remember had making a statement to Madam Manager that we were in the process of renegotiating our life contract, and we're shopping around to make sure that we were getting the best bang for our buck, the best deal for our members. Unfortunately, that process took a little bit longer than we expected. And I sincerely apologize for all the inconvenience that it's caused on a number of different levels, because this is not the first council that I'm speaking before about this life insurance. As a whole, we've learned a few lessons internally about a lot of things that we can talk about at a later date, but ultimately, the standard insurance at the very beginning did not want to provide the same level of coverage. The three-tiered coverage, the 100, 50, 20K amount of insurance that we currently had on our old program. They only wanted to, if you had looked at this plan summary that I have before you, on pages 3, 4, and 5, it talks about the different plans, and really that's just referring to the different options of insurance that are available. They would not let me go outside that box and make up anything. Well, after having, a few different conversations with them and some other folks from the league, they did say, okay, fine, here, take it. You can do it. We'll make a special exception to make that possible. So that was our very first battle with that, was to make sure that, you got the level of coverage that you needed.
So you come here tonight because the policy, the plan was approved 2 months ago, whatever, is in effect.
It was approved that, however it was broken out from, the clerk and the manager in the different tiers based on employment or.
But finally, you got that.
I've got it.
Okay,
It's
that's
available.
a good.
It's available, and it is a significant savings to the city.
Okay, that's
Of about a third.
I need to understand a little better, and like for instance, I'm sorry, insurance is not my business. Can you explain what's the difference between portability and conversion? I mean, is there or are there a similar term?
Very similar term.
I want to hear from.
Essentially, what we're talking about is if an insured employee, let's just say, a police officer, for example, leaves the city of, terminates their employment with the city of West Miami, are they able to take that original amount of insurance that they had and convert that, or port that, or bring that into like an individual policy?
And the answer is yes.
The answer is yes, they can. However, as a group, just like with the health insurance and anything else that we do, as a big group, we benefit in paying very, very low rates for things.
Mm-hmm.
That's how our health insurance is set up, and the life insurance program through the standard. If you leave the big group and request this coverage on your own, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. And it is based on your age and gender. Because, life insurance, that's how they base, a lot of those different actuarial decisions on. But you are able to do that, yes. And you are able to, if you terminate your employment, not retire. If you retire, there's a different set of rules. But if you terminate your employment with the city, you do have the ability to convert that coverage or bring that coverage with you up to the original amount that you had previously. So if you had $20,000 at the city, you could take $20,000 with you. If you had $100,000 with you, you could take, or if you had $100,000, you could take $100,000 with you. It isn't going to be 39 cents. It may, based on your age and gender, it might not be affordable. I'm not sure. Because at the end of the day, the group insurance
Is affordable.
It's similar to Cobra, right? Like a Cobra in the health.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So that's one question. The other question is the age. As long as you stay with the city, and as you age, does the amount, the coverage amount stays the same, or does it decrease? When you stay with the city?
When you stay with the city, and, you know, we've made some changes in our policy, you know, per our consultant recommendations. Standard policy in the industry is to reduce the amount that's available based on age. And so in this policy, and on page 9 of the summary that I provided the manager, and I believe that she's provided y'all, there are, between age 70 and 74, that percentage reduces to 60% of the original amount.
Reduce,
I'm sorry?
reduce, right?
Reduced to
Oh,
60%?
I'm sorry, Commissioner, yes, it reduced to 60% of the original amount
For active employees.
for active employees. Between 75 and 79, that amount reduces to 40% of the original amount. And then over age 80, you must really love your job, first of all, if you're still working after 80. But
Let me
that-
tell you, we are no employees here. This is not our job. We don't make a salary. We are no employees.
for the love of our city. But 80 and over, that amount is 30% of the original amount. That is standard. I mean, very similar to what other companies will do. Some will have a greater percentage than others, some will have a little bit lower, but at the end of the day, any insurance carrier that you talk to, the older you get, the more likelihood that something's gonna go wrong. So they're going to, you know, it's insurance. I mean, it's
So,
risky.
May I be heard, Mr. Mayor?
one more. So the same applies if you retire, or, in other words, the same applies for portability or whatever it's called, the other conversion.
Conversion. As a retiree, there are no age limits on that. So if you retire from the city, the rules are a little bit different. And so there is a maximum, you know, with the conversion. If you leave the city, you know, if you quit or you're fired, whatever, you can take it with you. You can take the original amount. If you are retiring, you are only eligible for $2,000 of whatever amount that you had. You're eligible for $2,000 of that. And again, that kind of goes into that whole conversation of, well, the older we get, the more likelihood something is going to happen. You know, so the life insurance companies, that's how they even out the risk, and that's how they, you know, do their ratings with things.
Let me ask you something.
Commissioner?
Can I ask him?
So,
Yes, and I have the attorney after you. Go
Oh.
ahead.
generally, for general knowledge, life insurance is according with the what they expected you be in this planet. It's very simple. When you are 1 year old, they expect you be in the planet Earth for 85. When you are 84, they expect you be in the planet Earth for 1 year. That's why they changed the
No,
number.
I understand, but I want to be the, you know, I want to see the specific. Mr. Attorney.
Okay. Number one, I can talk from this podium, or I can excuse myself and talk to that podium there, because I am an affected individual in this project. So I'm not speaking as a city attorney, I'm just speaking as a beneficiary. I take issue with the fact that some companies offer less as you get older, because that is not the case in the companies that I have personal knowledge of. In addition, this was not the offer that was afforded to us by a competitor. In here, there's only, I guess, 3 persons that would be over the age of 70, and those 3 persons are present in this table. So I think that in any negotiation, including insurance, there's also a give and take. If they want the business of the city of West Miami, I'm talking as a beneficiary and not as an attorney, I think that they should offer the same as others have offered the city of West Miami. We're talking, that's first of all, in order to make it very clear, is that there would be no age limit as to reduction in any event, because the the other insurance company that we know of, and correct me if I'm wrong, did have $100,000 all around.
less.
Is that correct, Madam Manager?
There's three tiers known as three classes, a benefit of 100,000, 50,000 for class 2, which is police officers, which is a contractual issue, and $20,000 for regular employees.
Well, that's the
Now,
other issue.
it talks about an employee benefit reduction schedule for the three classes. And it also talks about the age factor. At age 70, benefits reduced to 40%, and at age 75, it is reduced to 25%. And it says all benefit reductions are a percentage of the original benefit amount.
All right. That brings me also to the issue of the city commission and the city attorney. We're not really employees, and we do not really work 30 hours. Is there any limitations as to the city attorney and the commission?
Okay. What I'd like to do, let me address that first
Okay.
issue or the first question. The whole point of a group policy like this one is to get the very, very best negotiation that we could. And, you know, this is the policy that we've got, and I do not have the flexibility to make any changes with respect to that age reduction schedule. What we see is what I'm
That's
able to
pretty cool.
offer. There are going to be other carriers that may offer something a little bit different, as Madam Manager mentioned. You know, the schedule that she just talked about is similar.
Similar.
You know, it's similar, it's close, but not exact. And if you talk to another carrier, probably be something exactly the same. I mean, it'll be a little bit different. So I can't make any changes on that. However,
No, but let me clear this. The other company, the summary of benefits was less. At 70, they go to 40%. You go to 60. At 75, they go to 25. You go to 40.
Right.
So this policy has
Okay.
summary benefit.
The other issue that I'd like to have cleared is, what is the position of the city commission and the city attorney?
What was that again?
We're not really employees, and we don't work, I mean, I work more than 30 hours, but I don't know whether they work more than 30 hours.
and so in the discussion that I've had with the Standard Insurance Company and all the folks that have been a part of this negotiation and in making this happen, it was understood that the city commission, you know, we had that separated by tier, and they do have the actual title of that first class, and are understood that they are city commissioners and
They're covered.
and they are eligible,
And the city attorney?
and the city attorney.
Okay.
Anyone in that first class as broken down by you know, the clerk and the manager,
Another,
which yes, you're a part of.
Mr. Mayor, if I may ask a question. As I understood it through our conversations and our emails, you have a conversion feature in this policy that has a maximum payable benefit to a beneficiary in the amount of $2,000. Correct?
For retirees.
For retirees.
For retirees, the
Right.
maximum benefit
Is $2,000. If someone should choose to convert,
If someone
take their
should
policy
choose
and convert
as a
it.
reti- as the retiree portion of it.
Mhm.
If you are an active employee, you can take everything with you.
Or city attorney, or,
Or the city attorney, anyone as listed in the policy declarations. You know, if you're listed on that census that, you know, Aneri provided me, you are eligible to take that entire amount with you. The rate isn't going to be 39, the rate will not be 39 cents per
Correct.
thousand.
Another formula applies.
There would be another formula that, you know, honestly, I know nothing about, but I'll tell you, it is going to be significantly more.
Let me clarify. Before the person retires, an employee, before an employee retires, that person may convert the total amount, paying whatever the company asks for.
Whatever that person asks for,
Yeah, before retire.
as long as they are
As long-
terminating their employment
It's
with the city.
active person wants to retire, and before retire,
he comes to the company and says, I want to keep this life insurance for the total amount, 100,000, and then the insurance company will tell that person how much he would pay for that, right?
Correct,
And then he
based
tell
on
within the
age and
100,000.
gender.
Okay.
Commissioner Rodriguez.
Aaron, I noticed everyone else is talking about what the policy covers, what it doesn't cover, which is all well and good. My concern is how many times your policy has changed, how many times what you've told us has changed, and why after we renewed our policy with you, you couldn't cover us anymore. I'm very uncomfortable with all the changes that have come from you, your company, and what guarantee do we have that it's not going to happen again?
That's a very, very good concern. And if I had, if I could make a joke, if I had a quarter for every time that I've heard that in the last, couple of months. This is the first time that we've made changes to this program, the LIFE program, since I've been here at the league. And I'm going on 4 or 5 years now. So the first time that we've actually made any changes with our rates or the actual policy itself. This is the first time that we've actually gone and talked to any other carrier out there about bringing in everybody and getting a brand-new group rate. First time we've done it since I've been here. It is our intention, this is going to be the last time that we're going to do this. I cannot stand before you and make any promises that this is exactly how it's going to be for, the next 50 years. But, from my office's perspective, it's why we did this now, to save our city's money. And it is not our long-term goal, it's not our short-term goal, to go and do this all over again next year. Because it has been difficult, to say the least, for our staff, our cities, selfishly, myself, in making all these changes and doing so, honestly, at a very, very late time frame in our fiscal year. We're had that discussion with, Madam Manager, maybe a couple of weeks before October 1st. Oh, hey, by the way, we're going to be changing our insurance program. And unfortunately, not going to assess any blame on how that all happened, but this took a lot longer than expected. And at the end of the day, I do think it's better for our cities. We've got, life insurance, at the end of the day, kind of life insurance. When you pass away, there's a payment to be paid. Costs a lot different for different people. And for us to go out and help our city save money, we felt like we did our due diligence and, we did our job, ultimately in helping our city save money. It did, again, take a lot longer than it should have. I'm gratefully sorry to all the people affected. But it is not our intention to do this again next year or anytime soon. The insurer is very well financed, they're AAA rated. It's not our intention to do that anytime soon. And this rate, this 39 cents per thousand, is in guarantee for the next year. We hadn't made any changes to our life rates, and I don't know when the last time, honestly, that happened.
When we went to, I'm looking at emails going back and forth between the city and your company, and at one point you couldn't do conversion, then all of a sudden you could.
I had to ask for a few special favors, and
So it was there, you just had to ask for it?
it was not something that, and I had no say in any of the negotiations that happened between the Standard Insurance Company and the League of Cities, or the FMIT. I'm simply the guy behind the scenes that actually does the sales piece of it and the marketing, not the one who puts everything together, ultimately. When this was put together, there were certain provisions and certain things that were negotiated on. I had no say in any of that. When it came to light to me that there were going to be some questions and some problems at some of my cities, because y'all aren't the only one that were affected, you know, I went and had the discussion with folks at the League of Cities or the FMIT, and also with the life insurance company. this is what we're currently offering.
Déjame.
We're going to go and change this to this, and we're going to do it too late, basically. Is there any give or take on what we can do to help, to help make it the best we can for those affected?
Madam Manager.
May I ask a question, Mr.
Yes.
Mayor?
And I have,
to Aaron.
by the way, after that question, I have a suggestion, because we're gonna beat the dead horse till the
I
end, and I
agree.
have a suggestion.
I agree.
And I'm gonna put that on the table.
Okay, Aaron, in your standard proposal, is there anything that talks to the issue in the case of the city attorney and in the case of the mayor and city commissioners that defines their hours of work or basically recognizes them as an eligible group under the life insurance policy? Am I correct?
I have not been informed otherwise. I got to be careful about how I answer that question.
I understand that.
I have not been informed that.
I fully understand that, but you see, we need to find out what is the status of the city commission. Whether or not they're excluded or not excluded, because if there is some sort of limitation, hourly
They're not
limitation,
employees.
we need to find out now before they make a decision. Forget about me personally, I'm talking about whether or not they are considered, or they have to work a limited amount of time or not, because they're elected officials. And when you talk about retirement, the second issue is retirement means normal working people that retire and city elected officials that cease their functions because they have term limits or whatever. And so that is something that we need to know. I mean, that's something that I recommend the city to know.
Mr. Mayor?
Commissioner Suarez, and then after that,
Yeah, Commissioner Ronda, let me explain you, because she asked you, because she was elected, thanks God, a couple of months ago, and we're very proud to her. It's a new commission.
He explained it pretty well.
No, it's not only that. All this discussion, all these changes, is the first time. Because normally, the plan, the insurance, have the health and life. That's it. Now, this year, the office of the manager, she present a new thing, the conversion, the portability. And because the conversion, when she present.
No.
It was always there.
No.
One moment, let me explain. This year was presented the conversion, and then this company, they do not have that. They were not prepared for that, because this is the first time that we have that type of portability conversion to the plan. Yes, Mr. Alcalde. Mr.
No, no.
But that wasn't.
I totally disagree, and
No.
Madam Manager.
Just one moment,
In this-
Mr. Suarez, that wasn't even my question to Aaron. My
No,
question was,
no, but I want
what
to-
happened?
But I want to
at the
explain you,
time
that's
of
why,
renewal?
before, we never have this. This is this year because the conversion and portability
But
issue.
she knows
This
she
is-
used to
No.
come to the meeting,
No.
every meeting. She-
Before,
If I
we
may
never had this
clarify this for the record, Aaron, you can back me up, and if I am wrong, please do state so. I could err, obviously. We always had a policy in place when we went to the FMIT and we gave you our insurance policy and our bundle package, if you want to call it that. It provided a 3-tier life insurance policy for elected officials, city attorney, city manager, city clerk. $50,000 coverage for our law enforcement officers, which is a contractual obligations that we have to the membership, and $20,000 for all others. When we initially went to your FMIT program, it had a conversion clause already built into it on year one. That year ended when we went to renewal in August of 2014. A matter of fact, the policy in the past had a conversion clause, and 2 families elected to convert, and there were benefits paid as a result of that, of those 2 deaths that we had from active employees that converted their policies and took them, okay? So the issue becomes whether standard or the FMIT the issue became, A, if they were unable to secure the levels of coverage that we had, and that's why this came back to you. The levels of coverage that we offered the eligible insured personnel, call it that, okay? And the issue of conversion, because at the time, and I have an email from you, the maximum benefit under a conversion, under a conversion proposal, the maximum benefit that would be payable were $2,000. And I have an email that I highlighted while you were away in your grandma's service, that basically I asked you to confirm whether that covered the meat and potatoes of the coverage, and you answered and you said you are correct. So the issue came to light when the league was not able to offer us what we had before, not because I came and brought you the conversion issue. I didn't do this by choice. It was because, unfortunately, the levels of coverage that were in place before were not afforded to the city at the time of renewal.
Okay, can I?
That's correct.
I'm sorry. Okay, can I suggest something? Very simple. I'm a very simple-minded man, and we can beat this horse to death. And whenever I have in business, in any, I do a spreadsheet. Okay, let's say we have a project that we're bidding out. Okay, and we entertain 3, 4, 5 different bids. Okay, what I do is I do a spreadsheet and I compare, so I can compare apples to apples. What I think we should do is to let the administration with the expertise of the attorney. I know the insurance is not your expertise, and any questions that we have, give it to her so the next meeting gets presented to us, and simple, A or B. I don't want to keep wasting your time and wasting other people's time, and I really don't want to be in your shoes, because I notice your, as Commissioner Rodriguez asked the question, and I know, as a matter of fact, I went to a place the other day that it was really funny, because I went to present the permit, and when I was doing the process of the permit, they said, no, you need this and you need that, and I go, listen, I'm only the messenger. And they, you know what the answer said? We shoot the messengers here, and we don't want to keep on shooting you. So because I know that we're grateful that you're here and have the guts to be here in front of us, because it takes a certain person to be, and we really appreciate that. Don't take it wrong. When we make a decision, whether it's yours or somebody else, is we look at the overall picture, what's the best for the city, what's the best for our employees, and we make a decision based on that, and we do that every day. So, but we do really appreciate your effort. I know that you have really gone to bat for us. I know that you were put in a predicament and an embarrassing situation, and you're the one here, you're the face, you're the one showing your face, and I personally appreciate that. But I think we need to come up with a spreadsheet where you compare apples to apples, bring it to us, we make a decision next time, and that's it, and that's the end of it. Otherwise, we're going to be trying to convince each other, and this way and that way, and
I agree, Mr. Mayor.
I agree with you.
Okay,
The attorney take care of that.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
And
So you agree?
And I appreciate, Mr. Mayor, those kind words. And at the end of the day, again, the conversation that I had with Madam Manager about, I don't think that the levels of coverage that I'm going to be able to do, it's not going to match what we had. At the end of the day, my job at the League of Cities is just to make sure that the city of West Miami and the employees of the city of West Miami are in the best hands. I'm not a commissioned representative. I don't get paid any commission. If you decide to come aboard, on this LIFE program, great. If not, that's okay too. I just want what's best for the city. So I'd be more than happy to answer any questions in follow-up that come from here. And, if you need me at the next meeting to
You're the messenger.
speak, I'm the messenger.
Don't kill you.
I'm the messenger. Please don't kill me. But, if I need to be, present for any questions or anything in the meantime, please don't hesitate to let me know.
We will be talking under obviously the recommendation of the mayor here, and the commission agrees. We will be preparing a spreadsheet, and maybe you can give us the language so that Mr. Villalobos can approve the legal components. We'll put one proposal versus the other proposal with all the qualifying, the issues that have become a concern, because I know that at the end of the day, the commission wants to do right by its employees.
Of course,
So,
I
Thank-
understand.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Aaron.
Thank you.
thank you.
Enjoy South Beach.
I haven't slept in about 15 months, so I may get to bed early. Happy holidays, everybody.
Bye, happy
Likewise,
holidays. We'll talk
likewise.
in the next day or two.
Can you read item 11D and E, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, and I apologize, right, for the purpose of the record, this, the city manager on this item is instructed to prepare a comparison
Detail.
Yes.
detail with between the two companies and bring it back to the city commission at the meeting of January 7, 2015.
With a review by the Office of the City Attorney on the specific language.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
The next item,
D and E.
D and E. Item 11D, presentation of the Clean Energy Green Corridor /PACE program and request for resolution to add the city of West Miami to the program. By Commissioner, this item is sponsored by Commissioner Rodriguez.
You see, the people that we don't know, they come in first. The people that are family, we leave for last. We sit them in the bank.
Save the best for last. I was just going to apologize to you. I was going to say, Ralph, I'm so sorry it took so long, but, okay, that works too.
I haven't seen Candy in
That
in
works
months.
too. That
That's
works too.
great.
That
You know what? I had my fill. I was staring at you the whole time.
He was enjoying, right, the evening, sure. Have a candy for you.
So Rafael Perez, I think Commissioner Ronda is going to do a brief intro. and
Very,
then-
very brief, because everybody knows you, and I apologize for taking so long, but you're amongst family, so you went to the back of the room. First of all, I need to give a shout out to Michael, if you're still awake out there. Michael Smart is the resident that brought this program to my attention, and when he told me about it, it sounded wonderful. So I talked with the manager, and we gathered a lot of information, and then we found out that Rafael was a regional manager for the program. We didn't know that at first, so that made it even better. Basically, what we have here is a program that allows you to do innovative, it's an innovative way of financing improvements to your home. It's part of the green movement, so to speak. And just as an example, let's say you wanted to put hurricane impact windows on your house. Well, that's a lot of money. Probably couldn't afford to do it right away. This is a way that you can do the improvements and pay for it over a certain amount of time on your property taxes. It's a program that Rafael is here to explain. That the hurricane impact windows are just one aspect, just as an example. He'll go into a lot of other things. And a lot of other cities, municipalities have already taken this under or approved it as far as the cities are concerned. And this is a service that we would open up to the residents. It's not mandatory, completely optional. It's something we're saying you can do it. You know, we like the program and we open it up, but it's obviously, it's just a service we will provide to the residents if they wanted to use it. So with that, I'll let Rafael explain the entire program to you.
Yeah, Rafael Perez, I work for White, well, it's an honor to be amongst friends, mayor, commission, staff. It's great being back at West Miami. It feels like the old days. I'll have a brief presentation, so I'm going to walk over there to the computer, and hopefully I could use the mic of the attorney or the manager. And we'll go through a little presentation. At any time, this is family. Stop me, ask me the questions. I've heard almost all the questions you could imagine about this program. So I'm going to proceed with
Would
it.
it be best for you to sit where I sit with your computer? That way you're
No.
looking at the screen?
I can look at my screen and it's
Juan, can you come up and maybe do the PowerPoint so that way Ralph is addressing the commission to keep the order of the...
We have two cybernetic guy here. Cybernetic Peña and cybernetic Ralph.
Hey, Ralph, I see that Miami, Miami Shores, South Miami, Pinecrest.
Oh, there's more cities.
Cutler.
We're going to go through that. So,
Oh.
next one. Hey, little side button. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start off at, in 2010, the Florida legislature passed PACE, Property Assessed Clean Energy. What it is a law that evolved from California. I mean, this has been in California for the last 5 years. There's been over 30,000 transactions of this already going on. We've seen my company's also based in California, we're based here. So we've seen these transactions, we've seen the issue. What Property Assessed Clean Energy does is give another financing option available to property owners that allow them to do improvements to their home that fall within renewable energy. You want to do solar. You want to do energy efficiency upgrades in your property, change your AC, your insulation, your water heater, your pool pump, anything to make your property more efficient. And lastly, hurricane protection measures. That was added in Florida. California doesn't have the hurricane protection because they don't have those issues. So our Florida legislature decided, hey, let's add hurricane protection because that as a whole will reduce the risk pool, and hopefully someday our insurance will go down. And the same thing with the energy efficiency. Maybe the cost of energy and dependency on foreign fuel will go down. So all these improvements could be financed through your property taxes as a non-ad valorem assessment for the maximum of 20 years, 10 or 20 years. So it's not based on your property value, it's not based on the millage, it's a fixed amount set on what you use, and you'll pay one installment for the next 10 or 20 years. How does PACE work? Municipalities came together. I started with Cutler Bay. I'm the representative for Clean Energy Green Corridor District and also the Clean Energy Coastal Corridor District, which are special assessment districts that were set by state statute. And when Cutler Bay did an RFP, it was joined by Pinecrest, Palmetto Bay, South Miami, City of Miami, and Coral Gables, and created the Clean Energy Green Corridor, the first district. And how do cities come together? Usually the commission passes a resolution letting the administration look into joining an interlocal agreement, and then the administration executes it, and then they join the district. Next slide. This is a breakdown, Vice Mayor Blanes, of the cities that are now on. If you guys would join, you would be the 14th city in the county: Coral Gables, Cutler Bay, Miami, Miami Shores, Palmetto Bay, Pinecrest, South Miami, Key Biscayne, Biscayne Park, Bay Harbor Island, Surfside, North Bay Village, El Portal, and Miami Springs. Next
Ralph,
slide.
I got a question.
Yes.
You're mentioning efficiency improvement upgrades for the
Yes.
property. Would that include changing pipes, plumbing?
No.
It would include, well, the district that you would join, we also added water conservation to it. It could include changing, if we could determine that you're changing certain pipes to make it more efficient in your property, to reduce your energy consumption or your water bill, yes. If you switch from electric lines to gas lines, your property will be more efficient. So there has to be some interpretation. I got a call this past week from the mayor of Biscayne Park. He's like, I have an elevated house. There's a lot of, I get a lot of water retention going into the house, making my my truss, the wood joists, and a lot of heat. Could I spray foam that area? And I said, absolutely. It's going to protect the property, and it's also going to make your property more efficient. So there's a lot of innovative ways, Vice Mayor, that we could utilize this program, but every day there's a new. If somebody in West Miami wanted to put an electric car charging station in their property because they bought an electric car, they could do that. If there's so many different innovative ways. And the beauty of this of how to qualify for this, it only takes, you have to have 10% equity in your property, no lates on your taxes, your property taxes for the last 3 years, that's state law, no lates on your mortgage for the last 12 months, and no bankruptcy in the last year. So this is not based on your credit. It doesn't go against a person's credit. You know, if somebody didn't get to pay their credit card and now they can't qualify, all these improvements are to help the person's quality of life, and hopefully, you could just close that. What type of properties are eligible? Industrial, commercial, nonprofits, multifamily, single family. You know, all the improvements hopefully we're going to get on 8th Street and Second, for commercial, they could utilize this. You know, there might be someday down the line that the city that I'm from, we have a lot of bars in our neighborhoods, and that's a hazard because of if there's ever a fire. Well, hopefully somebody can say, you know what, no more bars. Let's go to impact windows, and then the safety factor will still be there, and then there'll be a little bit. So there's a lot of opportunity. Once again, the most important thing about this is you're giving your residents or your property owners an option. If they want to use it, they use it. If they don't, they don't have to. Next. This is just energy efficiency, renewable energy, hurricane protection, water conservation. Próximo. This is just a list of different things you could do, you know, building envelope, and I put all this in your files. Smart lighting, tankless water heaters, solar panel, solar water heater, extra skylights. If you want to expand an area in your front of your house because you want more natural light, you could do that. All these consist about this in this program. Next. So what are the benefits to the city? 100% financing. The biggest obstacle of people ever doing something is coming up with that money. Well, guess what? Most of the contractors that I've certified, we vet them, we confirm that their license are good standards with the DDPR. We make sure their insurance, plus when they come get a permit from you guys, they have to have their workers' comp and their liability. So the property owners, so most of my contractors don't even ask the property owners for any upfront costs. The typical way of getting your impact windows done, it's going to cost you $20,000. I come to Commissioner Rhonda, I say, okay, it's $15,000 deposit to get the windows cut. Well, guess what? She doesn't have the 15, but she has the end loan with us. Well, with this program, my contractors are not asking her for nothing, and they finish the job, it's inspected by the city, it's signed and settled by the customer that he's happy with her, and then the following property tax bill, they'll get their first installment. So it's a pay-as-you-go. It's financing. It's the same thing as buying a car. Nobody buys a car and says, here's $30,000 for the car. You pay as you go.
Ralph,
Yes,
what if you sell the property?
that's a great question. So there's two, if you sell the property, it could be assumed by the new owner, or it could be paid at closing. What I was telling Commissioner Blanca earlier was that people need to look at these decisions not just one-sided, the costs. You have to see, let's say you do your impact windows, the energy efficiency you're saving in your electric costs, the value you're giving to your property, this peace of mind and safety. And the last component that I see down the line, we were talking about insurance a second ago, is insurance. Eventually, if you don't have impact windows, you're not going to get the full credit of the discounts of the insurance. They're not going to say just because you have panels sitting there, they know that you're not going to put them up. You might be out of town that week. So eventually, a resident or a property owner has to look at all that and see all the benefit. And the second line, once again, no out-of-pocket, 100% financing. It's a voluntary program, and it doesn't affect every resident. It's not an assessment to everybody. Commissioner Rhonda wants to use it. She uses. Commissioner Suarez wants to use it in his home. He uses it, so it's individual. And you still have the traditional ways of financing. If you could get a line of credit, great to you. Let's go get the line of credit. That's a better option for you possibly. There's also the safety that I said. This program is more of a performance protection for the property owner. What happens a lot of times, elderly people have their home paid. They go get a line of credit, they get $20,000. They call a small mom and pop window company. They hand them $10,000 and the job is never finished. Or it's finished at the terms of that contractor. With our program, we don't pay a dollar to the end. So at the end of the day, until the job is complete, the contractor doesn't get paid. And they already know this, and I mean, we've been in effect, not in all 14 cities, because some cities have come on board recently, but let's say in the 7 original cities, we've done 140 projects in a year for $5.5 million, and we have about 370 projects in the pipeline now for about $9.5 million more dollars. Once again, individual, zero cost to your neighbors. You only pay your portion of your assessment. It's not credit-based. It doesn't go against your credit. It doesn't even show on your credit report. You do this, and I like to tell people this example. You need a home, you need a roof in your house, Commissioner Blanes, but you need a car. Well, with White Green or with the Green Corridor financing, you use your credit for your car, and you use this financing for your roof. So you get both. So, next slide. Benefits to the property owners. Eliminates upfront costs, not credit-based, long payback periods. Payments stay with the property. For commercial properties, off balance sheet. There's potential real savings. Also, you could deduct the interest rate from your personal taxes. That's another benefit I didn't say earlier. Próximo. This is just an example of what ad valorem and non-ad valorem is. Ad valorem is, once again, based on the assessed value, the millage set by government agency. Our portion goes in the bottom. It's fixed for the years that you use it. And last one. And the last slide was just, we have a software that I think Commissioner Rhonda asked me, at any given time, we'll give you a platform that you guys could go in there and see how many projects are moving in West Miami, who's applied. You have that platform. We've built that platform for that purpose. So the manager or whoever wants to be liaison, they don't have to participate, but if they want to participate, they have access to that to look at it. And finally, I think I've covered most of the presentation.
I just got one question. And maybe you said it in the presentation, but it's been a long night. In other words, if changing the impact windows in your house right now costs $20,000, what's the rate that you have to pay, obviously, extra? I mean, what's the percentage?
So the financing charges now.
Financing charges, that's the question.
One of my biggest contractors that works with us exclusive, and they love the program, is Home Depot. Of all people, Home Depot has a service that provides window installation and also provides roofing. Their best financing is 8 years at 8%. And it's credit-based, so it goes against somebody's credit. They use us because we offer 20-year financing, and today is at 7.25%, and 10-year financing, and it's at 6.25%. And once again, the benefits is to qualify is easy. We're not asking you how much money you make, how much your income tax is. We're not looking at your credit. We're just looking at the property, and you comply with what the state statute says.
Okay.
And once again, the program's not for everybody. Somebody might say, that's a high rate. This is not a mortgage. This is not a line of credit. This is just go to your bank and say, I want $15,000 to change my AC. They're going to say, we don't do these small little ticket items. We need big ticket items.
No. It's a matter of, I mean, it's something that could become a necessity. You can't even contemplate it if you don't have the money. So this way, you can go ahead and do it. And the example that you gave before is an excellent example.
Yeah.
You know, you want the car, but you also want to fix your roof.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, you got to change. I mean, you got to make a decision, and which one do you do?
I was telling Commissioner Blanca earlier that, you know, certain things have return on investments. One of the biggest ones is definitely an AC. Nobody changes their AC because it's running, but that AC is a 1990 AC that was, and you would know this, was a 10-SEER, but is really operating at a 5-SEER capacity. But by you just changing it to a modern 18-SEER AC, the savings will surpass the financing costs. So in reality, you're getting it for free. Now, for impact windows, a little bit different. You'll get some energy, the insurance. You got to look at it all. What I'm asking today is for you guys to consider this resolution, to let the administration, and you could create your program. If you say, you know what, West Miami, we only want to do it for impact windows and roofs, we cater it that way. It's your choice. I will report always back to you at your discretion. We're local. We're the only provider that has ever financed a deal in Florida. Our office is in the Mayfair. We're down the street. So you know, it'll be my pleasure to serve this community.
Actually, that's a very good, you kind of answered the question, but that's a question that typically our attorney asks, and I'm going to ask you, this question. What you're offering, and the I know when you go out to bid, the word is approve equal. In other words, is there another program like yours out there?
There's other programs.
I'm talking about exactly the same program. I'm not talking about similar.
No, there's no equal program, and the example I like to use is, if you had to go to a doctor, there's 2 cardiologists. This guy's never performed a procedure ever in his life, and this guy's already performed 150. I mean, until these guys don't start doing, this was a little tougher for us a year and a half ago when we would come to commissions and say, we've done 0 projects. And you had to say, okay, we're going to take the leap of faith. But you're not taking a leap of faith. We have proven, the manager called the manager of City of Pinecrest, The former mayor of Cutler Bay, Ed McDougal, was one of the pioneers. Not only did his property, his residential, he did his commercial building too. The mayor of South Miami just did his solar panels. Mayor Lerner from the League of Cities president, she's a proponent of this. I mean, so you guys have a lot of your colleagues, you can make a call and just say, how's it working out? You know, it's a proven thing now. At Coral Gables, Commissioner Lago sits on our board. He's very excited about this movement. So, you know, the skies are the limits, and I think we've really done a good job. And the one thing, if anybody that wants to get in this business, this doesn't happen overnight. You got to battle test, and you got to learn this and make little hiccups and fix it. And I think we've already accomplished
I
that
have a
part.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ralph, once the person wants to do that deal with you, your company deal with the county or the city to make the special assessment for the payment, right?
Yeah, so my company is the administrator and the financier for the special assessment district. So the city doesn't have to, the city has no liability. We provide the administration free of charge to the district, and we provide the capital to the district, where the district provides it to the property owner or the contractor, and then in return, there's a bond issued, an instrument that we get that instrument, and then when the property owner pays his taxes, the taxes is dispersed, you know, the tax collector disperses to the.
But in this case, the county, in this case.
Yes, the tax collector.
You do with the county.
Yeah. And this was approved through the mechanism of the tax collectors. We went in front of, for both districts, we went in front of the county, the BCC, and it was approved by the tax collector and the BCC.
I know we talked, I'm sorry,
okay.
we talked about this in the meeting, but I just want to make it public. Is there any cost to the city of West Miami to do this?
As of today, the 14 other cities that approved have paid not 1 cent. The only thing they've ever given is maybe their time to go to a board meeting. But that's at their discretion if they want to come to a board meeting, if required. But what we've done now, in order not to make people come to board meetings, and is at your discretion, I will report to you at your pleasure.
Is there any administrative work that will be brought, that we will have to, or our staff will have to perform for this particular?
Absolutely not. We incur all the costs, and we've incurred them all.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Mayor?
Let me put it another way.
But wait, I don't know who's first now.
Vice Mayor's first.
Vice Mayor's what? He says it.
Go ahead.
It sounds to me like a no-brainer. You know,
Well,
this is-
before you do that, sir.
This
let
is
me-
adding
you may hear
well,
from
let me
me.
finish. Let me finish, because, you know, we're all about quality of life, and we're all about providing the resident with the best tools that they may pursue, you know, and especially in this case, improve their property without having to dish out large amounts of money. I mean, I don't see anything negative about this. So, you know, I mean, as far as, I think it's a no-brainer. I know the attorney, you know, with his overabundance of caution.
No, that's not the issue.
Clauses, you know, he might see something negative, but I don't see anything negative. And
but let me,
if you don't have an objection, I'll make a motion to
Wait,
approve the program.
before we jump into the motion, before we make the motion, go ahead, Mr. Attorney.
Okay, the commission, second.
Ralph, practically, what you are looking for.
Okay, everybody's doing whatever they want. Okay, this is family, all right. Okay.
Ralph, practically, what you visiting the cities and presented to the city is the authorization from the city, the municipality, authorize your company to work with the residents of such city, right? That's what you're looking for.
Well, what I'm looking for is
A resolution.
a resolution that you would join the.
That's it, that's what I mean. You look at, resolution is give you authority to deal your business, permission, give you permission to work with the residents of such city. Is what then, it's very individual, and it's a voluntary basis.
Sure.
Whoever
So the
wants.
resolution is going to allow you as the commission to give permission to the administration to enter into the interlocal agreement, and if they want to cater the program a certain way, and you will be a participant of the program. And what the program does is allows your property owners that want to use this mechanism created by this special district, like a downtown development district or a community redevelopment agency, use that mechanism to put this on your, the tax rolls for your property owners.
May I?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Attorney.
Years and years ago, there was a vice president, vice president aspirant that came out in his first appearance before the nation and said, who am I and what am I doing here? Okay? And I asked the same thing. Who am I and what I'm doing here? I'm the city attorney and I'm here to advise you after I read papers. Okay? I have been provided with documents. One of the documents is Chapter 16308, the Florida statute. The other document that I have received is 163.01, Florida statute. Also, I have received multiple documents, both from the presenter, such as resolution of the Commission, City Council of blankety blank, and so on and so forth. Samples of potential resolutions and also samples of interlocal agreements. And before you make a decision, I have a lot of questions that I do not understand. If I do not understand it, my duty, because you pay me for that, is to advise you that I don't understand it. So at least you should afford me an opportunity, because this document were provided to me yesterday, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
For the record, I met with the Commissioner Ronda and Manager Aguilar last week, and yesterday I got a call, not yesterday, 2 days ago, while I was going to therapy, and the city attorney said, I was trying to get something from the city of Pinecrest, and they haven't delivered, and I said, Mr. Villalobos, I'm gonna get my phone, I'm gonna go through all my emails I could find, because I'm in no position to give you, and I'm just gonna send you a lot of documents. I apologize, I can't, I can't break it down. And then I made it clear. I said, I called back and I left a message, hey, if there's something, I'm sorry I gave you so much information.
I'm not blaming you at all.
And what I said is that, no, but I want to make sure that everybody has the content. I said, I think the plan should be to pass a resolution to let you investigate everything you want.
That is your proposal. My proposal is this. Prior to passing a resolution to join anything, I should tell you what I have found and what you ought to know. Let's see, you might instruct the city manager to negotiate and prepare a resolution at some point, which I'm going to bring to you, because I just want to advise you of certain issues. For instance, one of the blank resolutions that I received is between cities, but also when I find the governing body and authority of the interlocal agreement, I find that we're talking about third-party administrator, and we're talking about authorities, and we're also talking about bonding, which I need to understand where the bonding comes from. Also, you have a section 15 called liability, and it says the parties here too shall be individually and separately liable and responsible for the action of its officers, agents, and employees. I need to explore that because I don't understand that. When it says that the parties here too are individually, that's exactly what it means. Also,
Mr. Attorney, what years dated that? Because the legislature passed it in 2008, and then in 2010, they changed the legislation, making sure that cities have no liability. So that's why I made a mistake by sending you too many documents. That was my fault.
This is what I need to understand.
Sure.
Okay? Talking about the 163.08 that you did send me, it talks about anyway, I'm going to talk about a current document that I received and I have explored, and that I have talked to other municipalities, which is the resolution by Cutler Bay and the introduction by Cutler Bay and RFPs by Cutler Bay.
That was the original, sir.
I'm sorry?
That was the original RFP back in by Cutler Bay was the forming city of the Green Corridor. And just to answer his question about the bond, we already validated our bond, and we validated a bond for the Green Corridor for $500 million, validated by the courts. And the Clean Energy Coastal Corridor also validated their bond, validated in Tallahassee, and went through the appeal process. So all that bond has been already validated. But we have.
When you talk about that, this is, you're talking about validation, this is exactly what I'm telling the commission that I need to understand.
Sure.
You know, I need to sit down with you, and you have to tell me validated by whom, where, and who's the payor, who's the settlor, and who are going to assume what responsibility. When we're talking about forming an interlocal agreement, we're talking about forming an interlocal agreement with other entities. The other entities must be governmental entities, not a governmental entity and a private institution. So this program sounds excellent to me. I think that is fantastic. But in order for me to formulate a resolution, for me to approve as legal sufficiency of an interlocal agreement between ourselves and another entity, I need to understand what this is about, because you need to approve it. And what I'm asking you is this: instruct the city manager to negotiate with council, with the gentleman, with Modesto, I'm sorry, with
Ralph.
That's
Ralph.
with Ralph.
With Alex, I'm good with Alex, you can call it Alex.
And afford me an opportunity to understand what we're talking about, because I have found many things in here that it gives me chills. I mean, when you're talking about bonding, I need to know where that bond and who bought it and who's responsible, and where the money are going to and coming from and whatever.
And
I think, again, it's a magnificent program. I really think so. And
but you need to check it out.
But I need to understand what's going on. I have also spoken with legislators that approved this document and that approved this concept, and they think the world of it. But in order for me to put my name as legal sufficiency, I need to understand it. So
And I learned, Mr. Attorney, I learned something a long time ago, that as long as we follow your advice, even if you're wrong, we're protected. But, and, go ahead.
Well, I just want to say, you know, and I respect Mr. Villalobos. He's been in the game a lot of years, and I never wanted to put this commission in any position that this has to be done today. All I was asking, maybe the word resolution was the wrong word. I was saying this commission is giving the blessing for the administration to proceed, because this is a good plan. That 14 other city attorneys, I'm not saying that maybe those 14 don't even make up Villalobos' capacity, but has been looked at by a lot of people. And when 14 people look at it and there still hasn't been an issue and there's been transactions, I can sleep at night and I can put my face here and my family's name, good name here, that I'm not here to do anything to harm this community.
Look, let me correct you on that. You see, the issue is that I understand that you believe in what you're talking about. I really do, okay? Well, my job is to protect them legally. And I understand you when you say others have looked at it, but the others might be named Williams or Sorota or whatever, but my name is Jose.
Sure.
You know? So, the one that puts initials there is me, okay? So what I'm asking the commission is this. Do I really believe in that program? Do instruct the administration to sit down with me and Ralph and answer the questions. And if I have legal
Commissioner-
questions, for his counsel to get together with me. Okay?
Mr. Mayor, we're okay with that, just moving forward.
Okay,
As long as we could go into negotiations, that's
Let's
fine.
defer
Okay.
until next meeting.
Okay, right, very simple. Do we have the blessing to move forward with this? I want to hear from the table. Commissioner, I'm just going to call by name, Commissioner Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice Mayor,
Expedite.
Commissioner Blanca, and I agree as well. So let's do that, let's move forward. I think it's a wonderful program.
We'll move forward and talk, and yeah.
Unfortunately, and I apologize personally, we have to follow the city attorney.
Don't apologize. I mean, this is,
Due diligence.
He's,
that's exactly what you're supposed to do.
Mr. Mayor and members of the City Commission, what we will do is get a list of questions ready for Mr. Perez to respond on those matters that he has raised this evening that concern him or that require further clarification. We will provide you with questions, answers, and hopefully at the January 7th meeting, we will all be on the same page so that we can, then you could authorize my office to proceed with the interlocal agreement and the paperwork component of the program. In the meantime, we will keep the flow of communication going.
And in
Guys just
addition,
did this so I could come back.
and in addition, I'd like to find out who's your legal counsel that I can get together with,
Absolutely.
okay?
And Ralph, we'll leave you for last again. We don't know
Definitely, no
how.
Yeah.
problem. But that's how I'm gonna be across the street eating croquetas, and then I'm watching it on TV, then I'll come over. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I know it's late, but I think Michael got out of bed to come.
I know.
I think he was watching us live.
No, he
And he
was asleep
waited.
already, and his wife.
No, he got out, I think he woke him up to come, so if you will allow,
Yes,
Michael,
absolutely.
a few words.
Michael Smart, 901 Southwest 63rd Avenue. Forgive the shorts.
Make it fast, we're
Yeah, I know.
tired.
This is very fast. 2 questions or 2 statements, basically. It's my understanding when I met with Home Depot that there's no money up front from the resident. And secondly, that if you sell the house, the debt transfers to the new owner. And I wanted the board to make sure they knew that, so that would encourage their expediting. And that's all I wanted to say.
And that was part of the presentation made
Yeah.
by Mr. Perez.
Well, I must have missed it on my way over.
You were in transition.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
And I gave you a shout out, I don't know if you heard that, I gave you a shout out.
Yes, you did.
Okay, good, okay, perfect.
All right, we need to go back to,
So, Mr. Mayor, item E is postponed until January 7th. And next item.
Please,
It's not
can-
postponed,
no, hold on, no, it's not postponed.
it's coming
postponed
back
to-
as
to-
unfinished business.
As in,
I said to her later in the night, that's what I said, but, I mean,
I'm
you-
sorry, I'm talking about the Y Energy program.
Yes.
That
Yeah,
will
item
be
E.
under unfinished business, and we'll
Yes.
come to you with a follow-up from our
Yes.
office and the city attorney's office.
Yes, unfinished business, yes.
Okay, thank you.
until January 7th.
Then you'll be first on the
meeting of
agenda.
January 7th.
Okay, I've been working at night for the last 3 days, so can you guide me through this? It's getting a little tired for me, so,
Items that we have left,
yes, please.
uh,
And let's move forward really quickly, please.
yes, Mr. Mayor. We've
Today's was-
covered, I think we have item 10C pending, the nomination of members to the Code Enforcement Board, 2 permanent members and 2 alternates by Mayor and City Commission. And the meeting of January 19th, this item was brought to your attention. And at that time, I informed that by the order of succession, it was that the turn of Vice Mayor Blanes, followed by Commissioner Rodriguez and Mayor Mujina.
I'll yield to Commissioner Blanes first.
Yes,
Well, not
Mayor.
yield, I mean, you're first.
Thank you. I did call someone that came to mind, and then he told me that another commissioner had also called him, Commissioner Rodriguez, and it's Ralph Oreye. And he did tell me that he was willing to serve, but we have a conflict here. I don't know if Commissioner Rodriguez will...
Did you just steal my nomination? Just because you went first? But I confirmed him? What do we do here? Mr. Attorney, we have a problem.
That's the conflict. I don't know if Commissioner Rodriguez will relinquish her find
I
to me.
absolutely will, because I concur, he will be wonderful.
Yes, absolutely. That's the person that I thought of. And
I just got to him first, because I spent a soccer season with him.
That's
We were at
yeah,
soccer.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a nomination.
Overall, Orel, the meet Commissioner
Oreye.
Rodriguez, you can still nominate another person.
I don't
and
have
you
anybody, I
the
have to
one
go
you
find
wanted.
somebody. He took
We
stole my nomination.
And I will work
No.
I will work to help find a good candidate.
Absolutely.
I will keep.
I have a few others in mind, so
Okay.
I just stopped there when he said yes.
Okay, all right, we got to move along. Okay, so you got a nomination. Next
Yes.
item?
Next item would be then item
Can we
10F.
Could we go back a minute?
Yes,
I don't need one, I need four.
Well, you got one.
two,
Oh, you need four?
Yes. No, I need
two
four.
permanent members
Two
and two
permanent and two
alternates.
alternates.
Oh, my God, okay, all right. You'll get one from me, I promise, next time.
Okay.
And Commissioner Rodriguez, you're on the,
I'm on the spot again.
you're on the spot again, you're first.
We're gonna
And
fi-
then
we're gonna-
Commissioner
And, okay,
Blanca
in
will
that-
be in line too.
In that
to
case,
nominate.
Commissioner Blanca, you'll be after me, and I guess Commissioner Suarez will be next,
Blanes, Rodriguez, Mujina, and Blanca,
and then, and Suarez.
and then Commissioner Suarez.
Okay. Let's see, if he needs four, okay. All right, next item.
Item 11F, this is a report by the Office of the Director of Planning and Zoning in reference to intent of vacating and/or abandoning the right-of-way petition filed by Gables Gate Tower LLC and Gables Gate Tower 2 LLC on Southwest 21st Street between 66th Avenue and 67th Avenue.
You don't have a PowerPoint presentation, Mr. Blanca?
I gave you pictures, Mr. Mayor.
Come
Pretty
on.
pictures.
Beautiful, by the way.
Yep.
As you know, Gables Gate is the one that's building the building on Southwest 22nd Street between 21st and 22nd on 67th Avenue. They are also the owners of the property to the north, which would be Gables Gate 2, once they finish Gables Gate 1. So they have asked for a petition to close Southwest 24th Street between Southwest 67th Avenue and Southwest 66th Avenue in order to provide for a grand entrance to both complexes once they're built, and also a community park for the buildings that are there, that they are building. Southwest 24th Street between 67th Avenue and 66th Avenue services the majority of their properties. Anytime you return right-of-way, it goes back to the owners of those properties, which is, again, Gables Gate 2 and 1. And we have looked at it, and there is, from our point, Public Works, there's no reason for us to object to the closing of this road. It would actually provide a better, more residential area for the community from 66 to 65th and into the city to the east by limiting traffic flow from the two buildings. By creating this entrance feature between the two roads, they will be exiting out to 67th Avenue and lessening the impact on the residential part to the rear.
Mr. Mayor, will that be the only way in and out, is through that?
No, they have an entrance on 22nd Street to the Gables Gate 1, and also on 20th Street, when they propose the new building, they will also have a gate, an entrance to, it's just different levels of the parking garage that will exit out to 21st Street.
But the majority will exit out to 67.
They all exit out to 67th, they just have access from 22nd, 21st, and 20th Street. But the majority, by closing off 21st Street, the majority between the two buildings will come out to 67th Avenue.
How about the, don't get me wrong, I think it's a great idea. I think enhances not only those two property, but also helps the properties behind. But how does that behave with a fire truck? Can the fire truck make the turnaround?
They will be available to make the turnaround. There'll be a T-turnaround between the two buildings.
Turnaround, okay.
However, the parking garages are built to the height that the fire trucks are able to go into.
I have a
So in other
question.
words, beyond the street into it if they need to turn around.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Commissioner Suarez.
The entrance will be on the side, south and north, right?
There's an entrance
The entrance to the parking
to each building.
to
There's
the
a-
south and north in each one.
To each
And the
building.
exit will be in the
So it's
center,
on.
to 27, to 67.
That's also an entrance.
The exit.
No, that's entrance and exit, both. All four entrances and exits have entrance and exits.
Oh, enter and exit on the side too?
Yes.
Okay, good, good.
No,
no, perfect.
The only thing is that when you exit, they encourage to,
To go right.
67th Avenue.
And by closing 21st, you will encourage everyone to go
Yeah,
out to
67th
67th.
Avenue. yeah.
right.
You see, no traffic doesn't.
So the traffic coming from the two
No, they-
developments would not have an impact, A, on our interior roads and on the city, and on the neighboring
You sold
areas.
this?
I like that. Do we have a permit from the DOT and everything?
It will go, once we agree to it, if you agree tonight, then we will put it for a public hearing in January, and then after that approval, it has to go to Miami-Dade County for their approval, and after that, the action takes place.
Yeah, tonight is just a report to us. so-
Oh, it's a report, we don't need a motion
So,
now.
no, but he needs a blessing.
Oh, yeah.
No, what you could do is a motion to set it up for a hearing on,
January 7th.
January 7th, that would be a public hearing before the city commission that requires, at least pursuant to statutes, for Mr. Villalobos's review of the item, we are required to advertise with no less than 15 days
14.
notice, 14 days notice in a paper of general circulation. And I would encourage the city to send out a courtesy notice to the neighboring community with a copy of the ad, a courtesy notice. We're not required to do so, but I believe it walks a long way and it's a good faith gesture.
well, by the way, it doesn't affect any adjacent properties because
does not.
both properties belong to the same person.
You need a motion for the blessing?
Yeah, all in favor, say aye. Aye. So we have, who seconded the motion? I'm sorry.
Second.
Okay. All right, next item.
I think we've covered the agenda.
No.
Well,
The public
no.
hearing, we have to.
No, we opened
Mr.
the public
Mayor,
hearing to, yes.
We have a public hearing that we continued and until
Now,
you decide so. Now, okay, item 11A, second reading, public hearing and ordinance of mayor and city commission of the city of West Miami establishing certain regulations with parking control devices commonly known as parking meters, authorizing city administration to conduct studies and recommend to the city commission areas where parking meters should be installed, authorizing the installation of parking meters in areas determined by the city commission, establishing payment for the parking meters pursuant to resolutions adopted by the city of West Miami, by mayor and city commission.
I have a question.
go ahead.
I noticed it's a parking by the Latin American cafeteria, the 9th Street, right?
That's one of them, yeah.
That one. Are we planning to install parking meters in other area of the city? Juan,
We're looking at that.
Contemplating.
Contemplating
Are you
at
contemplating?
potential sites.
but you are going to bring to the table before you take an action, right?
In the commercial area, yes.
Yes.
You don't have yet, well, you bring it back later.
Yes.
No.
Okay. Any explanation on this?
Unless you want an explanation.
No, I just, for
The meters work 25 cents for 15 minutes of time, and if you, by cash, and if you do by credit card, it's 75 cents minimum
which is comparable to,
to all the cities within the,
okay?
Mr. Pena, when I drafted the ordinance for your review, were you satisfied that it's complete, or is there any other issues that you'd like to bring out?
no, that's fine. It's complete.
Okay.
It also provides a mechanism for the enforcement component of it, Mr. Pena?
Enforcement, appeal, and also if a commercial business wishes to rent the space out for their business, they can too. Once we set a rate.
So you would not add anything else to it, right?
No.
Can you clarify that part of it of?
In other words,
commercial-
some of the commercial businesses there wish to have additional parking reserved for them, just like you do in some areas, in Coral Gables and in downtown. They rent the meter out for the whole month. They
I see.
They prepay you a set amount at the front, whether it's used or not.
I
The
understand.
same way they do like the valet
Right,
parking.
Right, correct.
Okay,
So this is the first reading of this, right?
No, this is the second reading.
This is
Second
the
reading.
public hearing.
okay.
Oh, public hearing is coming.
Yes, I haven't opened the public hearing yet. Okay, public hearing is open. Anyone who wants to speak on the subject? Close, back to the table. Any questions? I need a motion.
Motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Can you call the vote, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Commissioner Suarez?
Yes,
Would you vote Commissioner Rodriguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanca?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Blanes?
Yes.
Mayor Mujina?
Yes,
Item passes 5-0.
thank you. Do we have any other items? Or that's it?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't
That's
think
it.
we don't have any other item.
good night.
Wait, go to the order. Anything on the go to the order?
You was coming to talk?
No,
You stay for about...
okay, motion to adjourn. I mean, whatever.
Motion.
Good night.
I will